Welcome back to our Comfort Designs Heating and Air Conditioning pregame show here on Spring Hill Sports Live. Back for our fifth week of coaches interviews, and I have Spring Hill offensive line coach Keaton Tuttle joining us. Coach, thanks for your time. I know parent teacher conference is going on this week, but happy to have you joining me on the show here.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Uh, Big win over the Panthers. It was a high scoring game, 56-34. But how would you describe the overall performance and kind of the takeaways from that game?
I think it was kind of nice to come out and have a little adversity first. We'd been challenging our guys for, honestly, since Eudora, just see if, how we're going to respond to adversity. And we were almost kind of welcoming the opportunity, as somebody's going to, as they say, hit us in the mouth and see how we're going to respond. And, we were really looking forward to that. And that's exactly what happened. At one point it's 21-7 and we've got to, claw back into the game. And it's exactly what we did. And it almost felt like after that, we tied it up, had some great defensive plays, special teams plays. Once that started to happen, it started to feel like the tide kind of started to turn. And, when that did, we come back, hit a one play, inside run with, Hank. And it really started to open things up for us. We can't say it was our cleanest game. We've had obviously cleaner, and we would like to continue that, especially down the stretch, potentially into the postseason and stuff like that. But anytime you can get up on an opponent, especially a rival, kind of get the clock on them, it's always a good win.
And you mentioned that first half where they had the big touchdown run, or I should say they started off with the blocked punt for a touchdown. They had that big touchdown run from Hank Kachaver. Offensive line did a phenomenal job blocking that. And then they had that pick six from Carter Rainey, the sophomore, getting his first taste on varsity. I mean, what was kind of the response to the adversity that you felt kind of shifted the momentum of that game?
One of the biggest tells for me, and just kind of watching our guys is you can really see it in them. It felt like at times, when we fell down to Emporia, it was almost Emporia, Eudora. It almost felt like at times, we were kind of waiting to see, who's going to make a play, who's going to respond. It didn't look like that. They never wavered. They never really blinked. It was like, all right, give us another chance. We're going to go back out. We're going to get our stuff done. And as soon as you could really see that in the guys, I remember talking to Coach Myers. I go, "Hey, we're real close." I said, "We're real close to turning the tide. We're going to turn it around." And truly, that's exactly what happened. So, real testament to our guys. I mean, they showed a ton of maturity, a ton of growth from just 4 or 5 weeks ago, and to our coaching staff across the board. Really getting them ready to go.
And looking back, what was kind of the message at halftime? Tied up 21-21, you kind of had all the momentum on your side, but last 4 minutes, both teams kind of just traded punts and turnover on downs. What was kind of the message at halftime to get things going in the second half?
We've said it time and time again. It's really just play to our standard. Don't do things that are going to get in the way of ourselves. At times we've been kind of our biggest enemy. Play to our standard. Do just your job, and as a collective, we'll take care of business. And that's exactly what happened.
And kind of looking into your position as the offensive line coach, I mean, they've gotten better week in and week out. And this is a really experienced group. You have, two of the captains, Clayton Meek, Duncan Pinkham. I mean, they've done really well. Tucker Wingater up front. I mean, talk to me about this group and how would you describe their growth throughout the season?
They're a special group without a doubt. We've got some great personalities, but at the same time, we've got a collective of 5, 6, 7 guys. We throw our tight ends in there that truly just love coming out. They love doing their job. They know what to expect every day at practice, and they have a high standard for themselves. And they know, I mean, it's a real easy thing when you don't have to correct the mistakes. They know what they are ahead of time, and you tell them, "Hey, and they're like, "Oh, we already know. We know. We'll take care of it. We fix it." And they do almost right away. Another huge testament, to obviously Coach Bouchard, Coach Myers. We run some pretty complicated stuff. We run some very simple stuff, but we run some very complicated stuff. And them being able to be the teachers that they are. So those our kids that we've got a sophomore who's playing quite a bit, starting. So true testament to those guys for being just phenomenal teachers, and teaching our game to our guys. And that's kind of the biggest thing is our guys have become pretty high level football knowledge, players. And when you can understand angles and nuances and things like that, you can start to become a pretty dangerous team. And they've really started to do that. We started out in the summer of kind of head spinning, like Coach said the other day, like drinking out of a fire hose. to the point where we're really starting to refine those things, and that can make us pretty dangerous. Now we still got to do our job. We got to take care of, our week in and week out, play in, play out responsibilities. But we've just got a great core of leaders up there, especially when you get into that unit. We've had some younger guys step up. Had a couple injuries at tight end. Actually ended up losing both of our tight ends, but one, younger brother, Riley McAvoy, and Peyton Stanley. And then obviously Brooks Byer coming over, being the player that he is. I mean, that's just one special group.
And you talk about, some of the young guys stepping up. I know you kind of help with the JV squad as well. And, what's it like balancing those responsibilities between, the JV and the varsity, and, what's the development program like there so far?
One of the most enjoyable things I think I've noticed with our JV is, almost to a man, they want to be there on Friday nights, and they want it to be their time. They want to be playing out on Friday nights. So they really do push themselves. It's tough. We tell them after we play on Monday, and then you got to turn around and come to practice on Tuesday. I said, we told them this just last week. We said, it's not fun, but that's part of it, and that's our job, and that's where we're at, and we've got to be prepared. So when your number's called, you're ready to go. And when you get those opportunities on Friday nights, I shared the story with them just last week. We had a couple of injuries. My first chance ever getting on a college field was because of an injury. And I was also that guy who got injured. So just having them ready to step up, wanting to be on the field, wanting to improve their play, to you build the trust between their older teammates or older siblings or their coaches. It's been really special to watch.
And I mean, you've got a new good big system going on. I know whenever you switch coaches, it's certainly hard to build a system, but I understand that when I talked to the defensive coaches last week, Coach Ewing, who is just a grad assistant at Friends, he's been a part of that system his whole college career, is now instilling it into the defensive guys. I mean, what have you seen from the JV squad that kind of gives you the confidence of the future of Spring Hill football?
For one, we got pretty good size, and that's one thing we talk about all the time. Size is something you can't teach. I mean, of course, being a former offensive lineman, I'd always hope we're a little bit bigger and things like that. But just really their knowledge base of where they're trying to grow. They know who they are, they know what they are, they know what they're not. And when you start to really understand that, you can hone in on those areas and really start developing yourself as a better player. And that's something, almost to a man, what they do day in and day out. I mean, is it perfect? No, it never it truly is. But when they can understand, the capability gap, and they can know this is who I am, this is where I want to be, and this is what it's going to take to get there, they really start to push each other.
You mentioned yourself being a former offensive lineman. Did my dig it, of course. I did that last week with with Coach, but you started out at Iowa Western Community College, Reavers for 2 years, and then you transferred into Fort Hays State, which myself being the UCM guy I am. I'll skip past that, but talk to me about kind of your background playing football and what got you into coaching, especially.
Yeah. So I kind of from a young age wanted to be, every, high school or even younger, every kid, wants to end up being an NFL player and things like that. Luckily enough for me, I grew up on a farm, my grandparents farm, my dad farms, and my wife's family now farms. And it's been a big part of, who I am and kind of the work that just comes along with it. I was kind of always the biggest one around. And I'll be honest, I wasn't a great high school football player. I really didn't kind of come into my own until I got into basically my freshman year of college. Um, and really, I kind of knew from a young age I'd really like to be a football player. And my dream was to be a college football player. And what I wanted to do, it might sound kind of cheesy, but I really wanted to be able to give my dad a football that had the NCAA logo on it on my senior night. And that was kind of what drove me for a while. And, I was able to do that. But I didn't have a lot of avenues because I was kind of this big, lumbering, uncoordinated, not overly strong player coming out of high school. Iowa Western was just starting their program. I basically had it in the back of my mind. I was like, I think I could really, push myself to play at a higher level. So I went the junior college route and absolutely loved it. I had, some of the greatest coaches I had ever had. My two offensive line Coach Woods, Coach Upressa, Coach Strohmeyer, my head coach, and a bunch of other assistants. And really, they kind of started to instill that drive and, who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. My dad farmed, my mom was a teacher. So I kind of knew that was always an interest of mine. I had some, like I said, I had some great coaches who I decided I wanted to be the coach that they were for me to future athletes. And that's, kind of where it started. Had another great coach in high school, Coach Jolly, and, those different guys that I wouldn't be where I am coaching today. And I wouldn't have been a college football player without that. And it really stuck with me, and the difference you can make and, young athletes' lives, and really give them a path. Without those guys, I'm probably not here at Spring Hill. I probably wasn't a college football player and get to fulfill some of those dreams. I was fortunate enough to get an offer to go play at Fort Hays after Iowa Western, and had some great coaches there. Coach Brown is, a legend in my mind, and still have the utmost respect for him. And Coach Iskey, my offensive line coach, I learned so much from them, and not just football, but life. I was the first person to say that I felt like I was destined to go to Fort Hays to learn more about how to be a coach than be a player. And you don't realize that at first. I didn't really realize that until, I get 5, 6, 7, 8 years, 10 years into coaching, that, that path worked out the way it was supposed to work out, really to help me in my career and in life. And so far it's been a journey. It's obviously had its ups and downs, and different bumps along the way, but incredibly thankful for where I'm at today.
Back with more from Coach Tuttle after a word from our sponsors.
Here at Strode Orthodontics, we are a single doctor practice, which means that I am the only orthodontist here in the practice. I will be the one guiding you through your care journey. With our experienced staff, your appointments will be more efficient and more comfortable. We love treating kids as well as adults. We want you to be happy with your experience during orthodontic treatment, as well as your smile at the end. I love when patients tell me that their smile has improved their confidence and their quality of life, because a smile is for a lifetime.
Are you looking for a trusted heating and air conditioning contractor? Look no further than Comfort Designs, Spring Hill's Heating and Air Conditioning Company. Comfort Designs Heating and Air has 100% NATE certified technicians who are friendly, knowledgeable, and ready to help. They'll care for your home and complete the job with speed and precision. Locally owned and operated right here in Spring Hill for more than 20 years. Comfort Designs Heating and Air Conditioning. See all they have to offer at comfortdesigns.net. Or schedule your appointment at 913-592-4453.
Michael Grant at Farm Bureau Financial Services is a proud supporter of Spring Hill and cheering on the Broncos. At Farm Bureau Financial Services, their number one goal is to protect you and your family. Insurance is complicated and not one size fits all. Michael and his team take pride in the relationship they build with their client members. Let them work with you to customize a plan that protects your livelihood and your future. To learn more, call Michael Grant at Farm Bureau Financial Services 913-592-2336 or visit them at 117 South Main in Spring Hill.
For 50 years, Elliott Group has been your local insurance partner. With 5 convenient locations, Elliott Group is big enough to offer the best carriers, but small enough to know your name and your insurance needs. Elliott Group is more than just insurance. They're a part of each community they serve, with a wide variety of insurance solutions to help your unique challenges. Elliott Group, where they're there for you today and for years to come. Visit them at any of their 5 locations or at ElliottInsuranceGroup.com.
Hi, I'm Katie Casey, and I'm honored to be a third-generation realtor in our Crown Realty family. My dad and grandparents started Crown Realty in 1973, and since then we have grown to become one of the largest brokerages in the Midwest. We now have 8 office locations and over 150 agents covering about 20 counties across Kansas and Missouri. Reach out to us today to experience the Crown Realty difference, where we are committed to treating our agents like family and our clients like royalty.
You got your one of your head coaching stops was actually this team that we're going to preview this week, the Emporia Spartans. You were there for 2 years. I mean, talk to me about the community of Emporia and what you like there.
Yeah, I was an assistant coach there for basically 6.5 years, and then I was interim for about 2 games, and then was a head coach for a couple years, and I absolutely love my time there. Um, I learned so much from the different coaches I worked with and worked for. It was a great experience. Don't know if I was truly ready to be a head coach, and maybe you're not always ready, but those are lessons and experiences that I get to carry with me and use every day. And it's fun being on Coach Bouchard's staff. I absolutely love it. It's probably I'll be honest with you, it's probably the most fun and most enjoyable time I've had with football. And I mean, that's just a testament to the entire staff, Coach Jennings, Coach Vaughn, Coach Heichman, Coach Myers, Coach Bouchard, and other guys and everybody else too. You know, it's really fulfilling when, there was a time that I thought I would step away from a little bit, and I'm very thankful I didn't. But all the things I learned in Emporia, it really all circles back to the people. Some of the people had, some of the greatest impacts on me, helped me through some tough times, help through the easy times and the good times, really keep you centered and stuff like that. Yeah, it's one of those things I'm incredibly thankful for. Wouldn't trade it for the world, and someday maybe I'll be a head coach again. I don't know that right now. I truly love being position coach and being part of this incredible staff and learning everything I'm learning along the way. And I try to learn something coaching wise every single day. And we've got some great coaches here that I can learn from too. Obviously, we know Coach Bouchard's record and resume and everything like that. And Coach Myers has been here for a long time doing it. The stuff you can take away from them is really second to none. And it's very, very similar to what I had in Emporia. Had phenomenal coaches, assistant coaches with me, assistant coaches for me, some of the same guys that, were at my wedding. So, like I said, the bonds that I built with people there is something that won't ever be soon forgot.
And just a quick congratulations to you just recently getting married. I know you and your wife, who's also a coach. I've worked with women's basketball head coach. I mean, she understands the coaching schedule, of course, so definitely helps to have someone in your corner as well. But I want to go back to kind of another additional note on what kind of got you to Spring Hill and what made you want to become a position coach. I know you mentioned just wasn't in your time, but also was there any other things that kind of led you to become just learning for a few more years?
Yeah, like I said, I was in Emporia for about eight years. And really I kind of made the decision, like, I feel like there's something more out there that I wanted to do. And I decided that I was going to try to jump in the college level for a little while. Didn't work out for me. And that's, like I said, I firmly believe that the way it's worked out for me is supposed to happen. It just, I wasn't quite the right fit for that. So I stepped away from that, actually kind of, was looking for just about anything to get back into education. Applied at Shawnee Mission North. They offered me a spot, and I actually wasn't coaching football for a little while that first year. And about week 3 or 4, I reached out to our head coach and asked him if I could just come out to practice and just kind of watch, because I was missing it. I remember the day I was sitting in my room and I could see the football field from my room, and I hadn't been coaching, and I was like, I miss this too much. I feel like I've got a lot to bring to the table, and just me sitting here and not doing anything with it, I've got to change that. So I went out and just started helping out a little bit here and there. And, next thing you know, I was helping, coach a position. And I spent last year coaching the O-line, and, felt right at home. And honestly, it was tough to leave North. I absolutely loved the people there. But the opportunity to come to Spring Hill and know what they're building and know what's going on can't be found everywhere. And obviously the opportunity to work with my wife every day, because like you said, coaching schedules can be a lot, and we know that, and I think at some point, and I know I do, enjoy that. So the opportunity to get to see her and at school every day and stuff like that, I couldn't pass up. I was coaching track. I was actually the head track coach at North last year, and it was tough to walk away from. Don't get me wrong, because we had a phenomenal staff there too as well. I just I was approached in February, and not only coaching, but they had a tech ed job here, and that's what I teach. And there's just not a lot of tech ed teachers all over the place. but I told him, I said, hey, we're just getting ready to start track. I don't feel like it'd be right for me to jump over without even starting. So I said, maybe we'll circle back in a few months and see what happens. And sure enough, they did. And by that time, our wedding was coming up. We just bought a house. I knew that they had, hired Coach Bouchard, and I didn't know any of the other coaches. I didn't know Coach Bouchard. But I knew that there was something special that could be built and is building here. And it's just something that I didn't want to miss out on. I didn't want to pass up. And I'm incredibly thankful and grateful that I was able to take this opportunity.
And we'll kind of look at this week's matchup. Of course, you're heading back to a place very familiar, but this is a program that's under a new head coach. Coach I'm very well familiar with, Coach Goodman. Also worked his way through the college ranks at Emporia State, is now getting to a high school head coaching job. I mean, talk to me about what you saw on the tape from him and his guys this week. They play in a really tough conference, the Centennial. It's no joke.
Yeah, Centennial League has, been incredible year in and year out. It's probably not as tough as it used to be. They lost a few of the Topeka schools who are very good year in and year out, but nonetheless, you still got Manhattan, Junction City, Washburn Rural, Topeka High. You've got juggernauts week in and week out. And to their testament, they've done a great job. Coach Goodman's done a great job. They had some struggles a couple years. We had struggles when I was there. They had some struggles after I left. But to their credit, like I mentioned before about our own guys, like they know what they are, they know what they're not. And, they make it pretty simple for their guys. This is what we're going to do. And they've had success doing it. They've won a couple games. It hadn't happened in a while. They've scored some points. While they did it, I think they scored 50 points in both their wins. So that's nothing to bat an eye at for sure. They do a phenomenal job running the ball. And they're building, and they're getting better every single week. It's senior night for them, so I know they're going to be fired up. I know the atmosphere that Welch Stadium can bring. It's a special place to play, especially as a high school kid gets to go down and play in a college stadium, potentially in front of some college coaches of a very good program. And I think that brings a lot to the table. So we know they're going to be a tough opponent. They're disciplined in what they do, and the film that we've seen, they get better week in and week out. It's going to present a real challenge for us. And I think our guys are up for it. I think they're ready for it, especially being a little bit different week. Like you said, parent-teacher conferences, schedules get changed around a little bit, but that's also some of that adversity that we've been looking for. And I so far, I think we had really good days of practice. We went, early, and our guys showed up and had one of the best practices, probably one of the better weeks we've had all year. So not only that is that great for your upcoming opponent, you feel a little bit better, like we're ready, but it's also good to know that our guys are, they know where we truly want to go and how they got to get there, and that they have to bring it every day, every rep in practice. And they've truly been doing that.
And this is a unique defense that Emporia is going to run. They run a 4-2. And then 5 defensive backs, one being a nickel, of course. But is there anything that's kind of been schematically different in practice that you're keying up for, without giving anything away, of course? But is there anything that we've kind of run differently a little bit that we're going to see this week?
Sure. One thing that I think is important is we don't get real crazy. We do sometimes come to our meetings on Sunday with, some outlandish stuff, myself in particular. But it's stuff that we base it on the simple things that we do. We base it back to our 2 or 3 main run plays. We base it back to our 2 or 3 main pass plays. And, we make a few adaptations off that we think, we can get the ball in our explosive players' hands and kind of go from there. They've got a number 20, Rylan Crowell, for them. He played for us as a freshman, so he's a very good player. He's potentially one of the best in the state. So, we got to make sure we know where he's at. We got to make sure, really it comes back down to what we preach and practice all the time is we've got to stay true to our fundamentals of doing our job. And, especially up front, we're going to do our job, and we let, our quarterbacks and backs and receivers, let them do all the flashy stuff that they're very good at. And, we try to handle our kind of the dirty job of things, but that's part of being an offensive lineman. It's part of being a tight end. Our guys enjoy that. So yeah, there's a real challenge there. We've got to stay true to what we do, and we've got to do it with the best of our ability. And I think we should be just fine.
And you've seen Bronco Nation so far. They pack everywhere they go, and especially now we're headed to a Division II football stadium, and Emporia packs it really well. I'm sure Spring Hill's going to pack it well. How do you think that's going to impact this game from a player standpoint as well, seeing their parents and fans out there supporting them well in a pretty big environment like Welch Stadium?
Yeah, it's been incredible. I know my parents have come down to a few games, and they've told me, they said, it's been a few years since we've been at games where the stadiums are absolutely packed. It's a lot of fun. We have incredible support. I've personally, we had great support when I was in Emporia and at North, but it's next level here, and that's a real testament to our parents and to our administration, to our teachers, to, just the community. So it is our longest road trip that we've had so far. So again, that's going to throw another adversity punch at us. And, I think our guys are ready to respond, but I also think, our community is going to travel pretty well, so we look forward to seeing everybody there and having everybody down. Look, it is a little bit of a trip, but at the same time, it'd be a lot of fun to make that trip and come out with a win.
And Coach, guys certainly look ready. It sounds like they're ready and ready for another big matchup on a big stage. I appreciate your time. Thanks for joining me this week.
Yeah, absolutely. We greatly appreciate everything you guys do for us. And, I've got parents who live a little bit further away, and they love watching and listening to the game. So thank you guys for everything you do.
Absolutely. Take care.
For more than 20 years, Gherkin Rental has been the place to go to get the job done in eastern Kansas and western Missouri. With a huge selection of quality equipment, from roll-offs to trailers, telehandlers to generators, power washers to popcorn makers. Experienced equipment professionals and clean, well-maintained tools to help you get the job done right the first time. Gherkin Rental. Stop by any of their 13 locations across the KC Metro or call 855-GHERKINS. That's 855-437-5367.
Hers Incorporated in Spring Hill is your area's premier small engine repair shop. Before you replace that faulty trimmer or mower, let our experts get you back to work. And if you are in the market for a new handheld, we carry Maruyama and Red Max trimmers. Plus, Hers is still the best place for hydraulic hoses, cylinder repair, and mechanical control cables. If that's not enough, we're also a UPS drop-off location. To learn more, visit us at hersinc.net, call 913-247-3530, or just stop on by.
Spring Hill's hometown shop is J&T Auto Service. As a full-service repair shop, J&T Auto Service works on all makes and models. Diesels, Europeans, they do it all. From combines to Corvettes. Visit J&T Auto Service for oil changes, tires, brakes, alignments, electrical diagnostics, and so much more. Small town, friendly service with high-tech tools and training. Schedule your service at J&T Auto Service. Call 913-592-6424. You can also visit jtautoinc.com.
The University of Kansas Health System is proud to be the official healthcare provider of the Kansas City Chiefs. Both organizations know excellence comes through their actions. It's about giving support and collaborating together. It's providing comfort and leadership to forge the path to success. The University of Kansas Health System cares for you in every moment, no matter how small. Learn more at kansashealthsystem.com.
This is your home for the Broncos. Spring Hill Sports Live.
Plenty of time, loads up, lets it fly down the sideline. He wants Torres, he's got to come back, he makes the catch. Down, Jackson Torres. There's a chance for Spring Hill. Back set, kill for Serpan.
A nice touch there, looking for Rainforth, and he's able to find the back of the net. A first touch volley. The substituted freshman, Odell.
Gano looking for the end zone. Touchdown, Broncos on a 3rd down and 4 from the 5.
It's time for the Broncos on your home for Spring Hill High School athletics. Spring Hill Sports Live.
All right, there we go. Welch Stadium, home of the Emporia State Hornets, and also home to the host of tonight's 5A matchup between the Emporia Spartans and the Spring Hill Broncos. It's coming to you live here right outside the campus of Emporia State University as the Broncos come to town in search of continuing their dominant season, sitting at 5-1. The Spartans come into this matchup 2-4 on the season. And this coverage of Bronco football is presented by Strode Orthodontics. Dr. Claire Strode specializes in creating beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. Claire Strode and the staff at Strode Orthodontics are experienced, highly trained orthodontic specialists with decades of combined experience. Locations at Spring Hill, Olathe, and Overland Park. Learn more at StrodeOrtho.com. And a special hello to everyone tuning in from the home or wherever you're tuning in from. We're excited to have you here joining us on the broadcast today. Alongside my usual partner, Matt Jones, I'm Brendan Bullen, and also joining us today, special guest, former Bronco himself, 4-year letter winner, 3-sport athlete, Ryan Jackson, the current Fort Scott Community College Greyhound. Ryan, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here. Welcome in.
Yeah, it's nice to be here.
And Jonesy, we're always excited to have you, the longtime veteran. So let's go right into our Covered Designs Heating and Air Conditioning pregame show. Locally owned and operated for more than 20 years, Covered Designs is Spring Hill's Heating and Air Conditioning Company. Learn more at 913-592-4453. Visit them at 206 South Webster Street or visit them at coverdesigns.net. So the Broncos enter this one. It was a rocky first half, you would say. It was a 14-0 deficit for the Broncos, Jonesy, but they fought back in the first half, but this game started off last week with some adversity.
It sure did, and I think that was good for the Broncos to deal with. They had to deal with, again, an offensive defensive line that they were struggling with, similar to the Emporia game, but a couple opportunistic plays defensively and on special teams got them back in the game, and then from there it was all Broncos.
And Ryan, I'm sure you talked to the coaches down on the field as well, but what did you see in that second half that really revived this Broncos team to show the offense that we're normally used to seeing them put out week in and week out?
Yeah, it looked like Jordan Miller really looked a lot more comfortable in that, second half. And, it really complemented the run game where Coach Haver had a couple big runs there toward the end. And, that Broncos offense looked a lot more sound.
And the thing that hurt him on, you saw it against Eudora, and this is going to be a similar offense you're gonna see tonight in that flexbone offense that Emporia runs. But the big plays, they'll hurt you, and this is what the Broncos team needs to limit tonight.
Right, they need to limit the big plays, and they just need to do what they've been doing. We've learned that when we're on defense, you're going to have to throttle it back just a little bit on defense because you have to be very sound. And on offense, our offensive linemen need to just take over and control the game. Really not much more to it than that. Your skilled players are going to have their game. The O-line, that's what I'm looking at tonight.
Ryan, season-high 3 interceptions last night. Carter Rainey for a pick 6. You had Jake Weiss in there as well. And then you also had, if I remember right, there was Kyle Stewart, I think, that also had an interception in that game as well. But this defense has really been flying around so far, but they're going to have to change form tonight against a team that runs, again, the similar offense. They're going to have to change form tonight.
Yeah, I mean, with this Emporia offense, I mean, just usual flex bone. They're really gonna have to stay sound in their gaps. They're gonna have to be really there with their contained, and they're gonna have to make sure to limit these big plays that Emporia can make if they're not there with their gaps.
Miller, 10 of 16, 177 yards with an interception. But he was very limited on the ground game. Had a touchdown, but only had 5 carries for 25 yards in that game. But Kachaver, he did all the groundwork. 11 carries, 186 yards for 3 touchdowns. The trifecta of touchdowns on the night. Dotson had 100 yards through the air with 2 touchdowns. So 11 carries on the ground for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. So Kachaver and Dotson 100 yards each on the ground. And Kachaver inching closer to the 1,000-yard rushing mark, which Patrick Stumpf had last year, but Kachaver's on his way to becoming a 1,000-yard rusher this year. Only one of 20 Kansans were 1,000-yard rushers last season.
That's an impressive milestone at any level of football, and it's really cool that he's getting close to it. He's been the workhorse all year, and we expect nothing different in the next 2 games.
Anything you want to add about?
About what?
Stumpf and Kachaver?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, Stumpf, I remember obviously he was a great running back. I mean, power mouth football, and we're seeing a lot of that about Coach Avery this year. I mean, he's very similar to Stumpf in his power, and he has that he can truck you at any point. But it looks like his vision is much improved this year as he's getting way more bigger runs than he really had in his junior year, and that's really nice to see from him.
And we'll take a look at this Emporia Spartans team coming into this one, 2-4, 0-3 in the Centennial League play. They lost 38-0 to Washburn Rural. They held the Varsity Blues to just 7 points at halftime, but it was a 28-0 run for the Blues in the third quarter that just killed every single momentum for the Spartans. And that's what's really can hurt in games like this is if you have one good quarter that can really throttle the other team, it definitely can hurt. And we've seen it with the Broncos too.
Right. We saw it last week. We saw a lot of guys for Paola that were playing both ways, and they had some guys that were just exhausted by the third quarter, especially in the fourth. And that's the same thing that Emporia's facing. They may be a 5A school, but they probably have 4A participation numbers. And playing a school like Washburn that probably has well over 100 kids out for football, that's a big difference when you can platoon and you can have guys specializing in certain areas, and just the fatigue. You can sub people in and out throughout the game, especially as hot as it's been.
Ryan, their lead running back, Rylan Crowell, was only held to a season low of 56 rushing yards. I mean, when you can't get the ground game going and you have to be forced to another way of offense, it certainly can kind of mess with your game plan itself.
Yeah, and I mean, as it is with most flexman offenses, you really got to lean on that run game, that smash mouth type of football, as I was saying. And I mean, if you can't really get that going, then it forces you into deep third and longs where you got to, really dig into that playbook for most pass plays, which is where you don't want to be if you're running the flexbone type of offense.
We'll step aside as we take a look at more keys to the game and also some pregame area matchups. You're watching the Comfort Designs Heating and Air Conditioning pregame show right here on Spring Hill Sports Live.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here as part of Fort Scott Community College's John Deere Tech program. Maybe you belong here as part of the perennial playoff-bound Greyhound baseball team. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
Buy one Sonic Smasher and get another free. That's right, buy one hand-smashed Angus beef Sonic Smasher and get another free. It's the dual threat quarterback of burger deals. Buy one, get one free in the Sonic app.
Hi, I'm Dr. Aaron Stoes with Paola Vet Clinic. We'd like to thank you for trusting us with the care of your pets and large animals. At Paola Vet Clinic, we're proud to be your hometown veterinarians who know and care about your family. We provide cutting-edge diagnostic services, digital radiology, ultrasound, and in-house same-day blood work, chiropractic, and reproductive services. Come in and see us at our new location here in Paola in the Industrial Park with indoor cattle and equine facilities complete with a hydraulic tip chute. With a team of 11 veterinarians, our commitment to this community makes Paola Vet Clinic the vets you can trust.
Whether you're trying to make the most of the next harvest, navigating a changing business landscape, or planning for the next chapter in your life, The professionals at Prime Accounting Solutions are here to help. With 10 locations, Prime Accounting offers convenient, friendly accounting and tax services at a fair price. Payroll, bookkeeping, business planning, personal tax filing, and more. And now Prime is the place to go for insurance. Bronco fans can find us at 408 North Webster in Spring Hill or call 913-592-2050. To find a location near you, go to primeaccounting.net.
Find whole body wellness with Sozo Chiropractic in downtown Spring Hill. Relax and recharge with medical grade infrared. Experience natural relief with dry needling and acupuncture. Or try stem wave therapy, a cutting edge option for pain relief and healing. Whether it's you, your kids, or your family, Sozo Chiropractic is here to help you feel your best. Visit us at 102 South Main in Spring Hill or call 913-592-0010. Sozo Chiropractic. Relax, restore, and live well.
Back here on our Comfort Designs Heating and Air Conditioning pregame show here on Spring Hill Sports Live. And before phenomenal national anthem, which we got to encounter. I mean, phenomenal job to whoever that was. Taking a look at the Emporia Spartans, and although they did have the 38-0 shutout, they did have really two big defensive stops. They had an interception in the red zone against Washburn Roll, and they had a fumble recovery. So this is a team that whenever they can get really big defensive stops, they can really turn the tide and get them going quick.
Yeah, complementary football is important, and sometimes your offense is only as good as your defense, and vice versa. If your defense is going to get tired if your offense isn't holding up their end of the bargain, and again, if your defense can't stop anybody, then that puts a lot of pressure on the offensive squad.
And Ryan, you met the Spartans last year, but it was in Spring Hills, a 49-7 victory. They only made it through the 9 weeks. They lost to Eisenhower. It was 55-14 the final in that one. They graduated 4 seniors who were all centennial, 3 of them being honorable mentions, 1 Kobe Lee, the defensive lineman, being the second team. Caden Glissman would resign just after 2 seasons, and they'd have to search for their 3rd head coach in 4 seasons. And Ryan, I know certainly that it definitely cannot be easy for, kids as young as maybe freshmen and sophomores, that they're going to have to go through yet another head coaching change. It certainly can't feel easy for them.
Oh, yeah, not at all. A lot of the guys on Spring Hill, they went through it this year. With feedback leaving to Belton, and with Coach Bouchard, who's obviously done a great job with this Broncos team. But it can't be easy at all for a young kid like that to have to completely switch their game plan around.
Enter in Daniel Goodman, a pedigree assistant coach who's been an Emporia native all his life. Began his coaching career after a 4-year letter-winning season at Emporia State University as a center. Been an All-American. He moved to South Dakota before becoming part of 2 FCS National Championship staffs in 2017, and also that 2018 team where the Bison went undefeated with Easton Stick at quarterback, actually, former Charger backup. He'd returned to the Hornets in 2019, served as the running back coach, special teams coordinator, and the conditioning coach for 3 years. This is a coach, Jonesy, that he has a lot of pedigree under him, and he wanted to do his own thing. He told me before taking this job at Emporia, he wanted to do his own thing, and he's certainly done just that for the Spartans this season.
Well, it's really cool getting to come back and coach at your alma mater, and obviously he's got a vested interest in the community and the school district, so that's really neat. Sometimes it takes somebody like that to turn a program around and get kids to buy in, because once you get kids to start buying in, you go from 30 athletes to 40 to 50 to 60, and then it becomes the cool thing to do. So then all your athletes, maybe instead of just playing basketball or just playing baseball or just wrestling, they're like, hey, I want to be part of that success too. So hopefully it does work out for them. The Centennial League is brutal, it's tough, so the community's behind them when they're successful.
But not only they're getting a Division II workout regiment that really a lot of athletes don't necessarily get as much at the high school level, but this is a guy that knows what it takes to win at the Division II level under Hornets head coach Garen Higgins, who is tied for the third most wins in program history behind just the namesake of this field, Francis G. Welsh Stadium. I mean, he certainly worked under head coaching royalty in Division II football.
Right, and that's good experience to have. And looking at coaches who have dropped down from the college level, the biggest thing that I've seen just being around athletics my whole life is, can they pare it down so a 14-year-old can understand what they're talking about? It's one thing to teach it to a 21, 22-year-old that's experienced, that's strong and athletic, but a kid that's still maturing, their body's still developing, can you develop your strength program? So young kids can benefit and develop in it. Can you simplify your offense and defensive schemes so those 14, 15-year-olds can develop and build through it?
Ryan, Emporia had not been winless since 2001, but the last 2 years under Coach Glissman, the Spartans did not win a single game. They went 0-18 in those 2 seasons, but Coach Goodman's really turned this team around to their first 2 wins in over 25 games, spanning almost 2.5 years. I mean, that's certainly got to feel good that they're able to double their win total from the past 2 years and finally be at a place to where they feel like they can really start to build upon it.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, going from that amount of failure and that kind of lack of success per se. I mean, it's got to be tough. And this turnaround that they've had, I mean, it's not exactly where they want to be yet, obviously, but 2 wins is it's a much improvement. That shows that they're in the right direction.
And they return Rylan Crowell, who is honorable mention All-Centennial at the running back position, and there is a good chance he might not play tonight. He did not practice all week from what I was told, and they hoped he would, but there is a good chance Rylan Crowell may not play tonight, and that certainly could hurt the Spartans. But they have Micah Gray at quarterback, who he returns. He was phenomenal last season, but it's got to be a new look offense for this Spartans team.
Yeah, that's tough when you don't have your starting running back, All-Centennial League, honorable mention. Hopefully he gets to play a little bit. I think it'd be good defensively for us to see him, but if not, we'll just play against what they throw out at us.
Taking a look at the last year's matchup, 49-7 the final on that one. Broncos had a good second and third quarter. They scored 21 points in both the second and the third quarter. They tallied 345 total yards of offense, 211 on the ground. 152 of those was Patrick Stumpf with 3 touchdowns. Kachaver would also have a touchdown on just 4 carries that went for 42 yards. And Jordan Miller, again, aired it out phenomenally. 11-13, consistent per usual, kind of in the later part of the season. 134 yards and 2 touchdowns, a QBR of 155.1. So this is a team Miller's seen, and he did really well against, but it's a matter of, can you back it up from last year to this year in a new system?
Yeah, and I mean, you really got to just, keep building week after week and get to help with that success.
Anything to add, Jonesy?
Not much.
I just think Jordan keeps getting better every game, and he's got to keep doing it. It doesn't matter who you're playing. The quarterback is the one that makes the decisions. So at the end of the day, win or lose, you look at the quarterback and are they making the right reads, going through their route trees.
A lot of Ryan's classmates actually were able to get in the stat sheet receiving-wise. Jackson Torres and Henderson both would have catches. Corey Kirkner would have 2 receptions for 50 yards. And then Mason Dodson, he started to develop as a freshman, 5 receptions for just 25 yards. Cade Myers had an interception in that game. Bear just only punted once. And then Blaine Summer and Brooks Bear also both had sacks. So the defense didn't necessarily have the big plays we're normally used to seeing every week, but they just got the job done and held Emporia to just 7 or nothing up until that fourth quarter, where they had that 20-yard touchdown pass to Crowell. He finished with only 66 yards of total offense that game.
Yeah, and Spring Hill that game, I mean, we really just, as I was saying, they really just stuck to the game plan, which is exactly what they need to do tonight to hold them.
We'll take a quick commercial break here. When we come back, it's our pregame Elliott Insurance Group pregame area matchups. And then after that, opening kickoff presented by Dan the Tailor Man. You're watching the Cover Designs Heating and Air Conditioning pregame show right here on Spring Hill Sports Live.
I've been doing real estate for 8 years now, and we've run across clients where they're interested in land, but then what do we do with it? Well, what do you want to do with it?
There's a lot of pressure on individuals now to make those decisions quickly. And I think with our experience, with our backgrounds, we know how to work with the cities and how to work with the contractors to make it a smoother process for the buyer.
So if you're looking for real estate
or land planning services,
contact us today at epre.biz.
Option Bank community banking at its best. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
My name is Dr. Claire Strode. I'm the owner and orthodontist here at Strode Orthodontics. You may run into me out at the soccer fields or out on the baseball diamonds. The things that I love
Three 592-4453.
Back here on the Comfort Designs Heating and Air Conditioning pregame show here on Spring Hill Sports Live. And now it's time for our pregame area matchups presented by Elliott Insurance Group. Elliott has served area communities for decades. When you're out traveling to your next big matchup, find an Elliott location near you. And we'll take a look starting in the Frontier League. Eudora will be taking on Tonganoxie. Eudora currently ranked the second ranked team in 4A. They had a big 54-14 win over Indy Tongi. They dropped 38-10 over Baser, a tough 5A matchup against the undefeated Bobcats. Eudora with a win tonight, they will clinch the Frontier League title outright. But Tongi, they have a very good defense and stop on the run. So how do you think this matchup will go out?
Well, it'll be interesting because those teams don't particularly like each other, so it's always a rivalry, and you can throw the records out the door. And Tonganoxie is very well coached, so as we know, that game was moved up due to weather. So right now that game's currently 7-7, so we're keeping an eye on that one for everybody, and that'll be interesting because if we can both pull off victories this weekend, then we'll be in a tie. Obviously, they'll have the head-to-head. So,
Ryan, I'll go to you. Ottawa against Lewisburg. Both teams got wins. Ottawa 39-0 over Bonner Springs. Lewisburg 49-6 over Wichita West. For Ottawa, they got to keep Aaron Blaine comfy. He had 175 yards with 2 touchdowns against the Bonner Springs Braves. And Lewisburg, they just got to keep the score going. Whenever they have their offense flowing, that's when they get really good.
Yeah, and I mean, with Ottawa, I was gonna say it kind of sucks to lose Sims and Hayden Hole, yeah, at quarterback to injuries, and that's it's kind of tough to put him in that situation at quarterback, but it's not too bad.
But of course, his brother Owen. Owen.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's he's probably learned a lot then from him. So
Bonner Springs, Paola, both teams taking losses to really top-tier opponents. Paola, you got to give Bodie Shea the ball. I mean, when you give the ball at his hands, he can dominate. He had 4 touchdowns on the ground against the Broncos last week on 39 carries for 118 yards. His father, Brian Shea, which we happen to find out, Harlan Hill winner back in 2008, Emporia State Hall of Famer. I mean, when you have a son, when you come from a legacy of him, I mean, he certainly was going to go out and show the Broncos who's boss there, and he did on the ground, but just could not get the win there.
He really did. He was the workhorse, both offensively and defensively for the Panthers, and he's just a workhorse of a running back, and he's young, so he'll keep getting better. But hopefully good things start happening for him.
And Bonner Springs, they just got to score. They've yet to score since Spring Hill. They've not scored at all.
Right. They're struggling. They're struggling.
Bishop Ward against Baldwin. Bishop Ward fell to Wellsville 49-20, a team Baldwin toppled 47-7 early in the season. Baldwin had fall to the current undefeated Chargers of Santa Fe Trail 49-21. And both teams, they just got to play balanced. But Baldwin, they stranded a lot of opportunities so far this season, and they just cannot afford to do that against Bishop Ward. A really historic program that's been really solid at football year in and year out.
Right. And Baldwin's, they're finally having a turnaround year, and good for them. It's time, and hopefully with us leaving the Frontier League, and they'll be stepping in and hopefully playing some more of the games because they're in the Frontier League for everything else. But hopefully they'll start to get back in the Frontier League and play the usual foes.
We'll take a look at some other matchups around the area. Number 1, Aquinas taking on Blue Valley Northwest. Aquinas has been one of the top teams in 5A so far. They'll jump down to 4A for the playoffs, but so far they've been cruising right now. They've not faced really much trouble, but they've got a team against Northwest that they feel really good tonight.
Right. They would be the favorite. Last week their game against Rockhurst was a heartbreaker. They were ahead most of the game, and Rockhurst converted on a 2-point conversion to win by 1. So that's a tough loss for Aquinas. So they'll be looking to get back to it against the Huskies of Blue Valley Northwest. And then obviously postseason time, Aquinas will probably be the 2 or 3 seed in 5A East. So
Cape and Mount Carmel, the number 1 team in 4A, will take on the number 4 team in 5A, St. James Academy. And Capen, I mean, they've been solid year in and year out. They've had a lot of talent going to the Division I level. And for St. James, they've not had much trouble in their competition either. But this will be a really nice matchup for the Thunder of St. James.
Right. It'll be interesting for them.
Ryan, I'll go to you on this one. And Jonesy, I know you're excited. You can add your input as well. Number 5, Mill Valley against Olathe Northwest. Mill Valley, this is not a team we're used to seeing. 2 losses so far on the season. Currently the number 8 seed in 5A. And against the Olathe Northwest team, they've had their really good ups so far this season.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And, it's surprising to see Mill Valley with, 2 losses this early in the year with how great they've really been as a 5A powerhouse.
Yeah, I feel like Mill Valley is not the Mill Valley of the last few years. They're a little bit down talent-wise, and then that happens. Programs go through cycles, and Northwest is playing good football right now. They're well coached. The staff's bought in, the kids are bought in, and I teach at the middle school that feeds Northwest, so our middle school teams have been very, very successful over the last few years, and those kids are finally getting to be sophomores and juniors, and they're excited about that game. And unfortunately, Mill Valley last week got hammered by Olathe West, so you never wanted to see a team like Mill Valley coming off an embarrassing loss. So hopefully the Ravens could pull it off tonight.
Now come the Spring Hill Broncos onto the field, along with the Spartans as they get their light show in order. We'll keep rolling through these matchups real quick. My game I'm excited for, Shawnee Mission East against Olathe West, the 4th-ranked team in 6A. The Owls have got it going, Jonesy.
Yeah, they've been playing well. They're really, really well, and they're doing a good job. And Shawnee Mission East is tough. Their quarterback is really, really good.
But against a team in Shawnee Mission East, that this has been one of their better seasons in recent memory. You go back to COVID when they were really good, and I played them as a freshman, but this is a completely different East team that they look to be firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, they're tough, and they're well coached. That's Olathe Northwest's only loss was Shawnee Mission East's first game of the year, and that's a game where the Ravens were up by 2 touchdowns and lost on a a doink going in field goal. So
Olathe North taking on Lawrence Free State, the 5th-ranked team in 6A. Firebirds have got it really clicking this year. They've been teetering around the 500 mark the last few years, but the Firebirds this year look to be really solid. Another matchup, Blue Valley North will be taking on the 3rd-ranked Bishop Miege Stags of the 4A. And then Olathe South Gardner Edgerton. And then 3 games recently, as of last night, Lawrence High was taken down in overtime by the Shawnee Mission North Bison 29-28, a heartbreaker in overtime. And Lawrence, what happened?
God, that's a good question. I don't know. Lawrence is kind of fallen from grace a little bit. And it's weird how Lawrence is so cyclical. Like one year Free State will be good and the next year Lawrence High will be good. And it just kind of goes back and forth other than the early 90s run and mid 90s run of Lawrence football program. They've just kind of gone back and forth.
It was a 3rd quarter. They were leading 21-7 before it was the win for the Bison in that one. Blue Valley West. The Tigers get it done against the Jaguars 28-21 the final. Blue Valley improves to 4-3 on the season, completing a clean sweep over every school in the Blue Valley district.
Yeah, Coach Alan Terrell's doing a good job with the Blue Valley Tigers and their traditional program. Many state championships at Blue Valley High, so they're just a good, solid program, and that's something to be considerate of in 5A East is where the Blue Valley Tigers fall. We're not talking about them like we are Mill Valley and Aquinas, but Blue Valley's got an early exit last year from the playoffs, so they're ready to go.
The final Thursday game, Olathe East taking on Shawnee Mission West High School. The Hawks got it done against the Vikings 41-22. The Hawks improved to 2-5. Shawnee Mission West 1-6 on the season. Those are your Elliott Insurance Group pregame area matchups. We'll take one more quick break. We're 3 minutes from kickoff. We'll have that for you next year on Spring Hill Sports Live.
Buy one Sonic Smasher and get another free. That's right, buy one hand-smashed Angus beef Sonic Smasher and get another free. It's the dual threat quarterback of burger deals. Buy one, get one free in the Sonic app.
The Kansas City Chiefs and the University of Kansas Cancer Center are at the top of their game. Both organizations know excellence comes through their actions. It's about giving support and collaborating together. It's providing comfort and leadership to forge the path to success. The University of Kansas Cancer Center cares for you in every moment, no matter how small. Learn more at kucancercenter.org.
The industry's most advanced equipment and training, state-of-the-art diagnostic tools, and the small-town friendly service you expect. That's J&T Auto Service in Spring Hill. Eliminate the veil of uncertainty with J&T Auto's digital diagnostic process. This unique service ensures transparency, clear communication, and documentation, allowing for a quick and complete repair. To learn more or to schedule an appointment, call 913-592-6424. You can also visit jtautoinc.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Aaron Stowe with Paola Vet Clinic. We'd like to thank you for trusting us with the care of your pets and large animals. At Paola Vet Clinic, we're proud to be your hometown veterinarians who know and care about your family. We provide cutting-edge diagnostic services, digital radiology, ultrasound, and in-house same-day blood work, chiropractic, and reproductive services. Come in and see us at our new location here in Paola in the Industrial Park with indoor cattle and equine facilities complete with a hydraulic tip chute. With a team of 11 veterinarians, our commitment to this community makes Paola Vet Clinic the vets you can trust.
HERS Incorporated in Spring Hill is your area's premier small engine repair shop. Before you replace that faulty trimmer or mower, let our experts get you back to work. And if you are in the market for a new handheld, we carry Maruyama and Red Max trimmers. Plus, HERS is still the best place for hydraulic hoses, cylinder repair, and mechanical control cables. If that's not enough, we're also a UPS drop-off location. To learn more, visit us at hersinc.net, call 913-247-3530, or just stop on by.
Hi, I'm Katie Casey, and I'm honored to be a third-generation realtor in our Crown Realty family. My dad and grandparents started Crown Realty in 1973, and since then we have grown to become one of the largest brokerages in the Midwest. We now have 8 office locations and over 150 agents covering about 20 counties across Kansas and Missouri. Reach out to us today to experience the Crown Realty difference, where we are committed to treating our agents like family and our clients like royalty.
here on Bayer.
Back here on Spring Hill Sports Live. Just seconds away from kickoff here. The Broncos have won the toss. They've elected to defer to the second half, so it'll be Aiden Odell to kick things off to Emporia. And fellas, here we go. Week 7, big 5A matchup. Emporia student section traveling well. The Broncos,
They have a few.
they've got a few.
There's a few. It's a long haul.
Odell's kick, end over end, and that'll go to the back of the end zone. Oh, looks like we got to do it again.
Did they go? Was there a flag? I don't see a flag.
Maybe I don't think the referee blew his whistle
Maybe
in
not.
time. Yeah. It's definitely what it could be.
Yep.
Odell to kick from the 40. Broncos in the all whites. A favorite of the team, of course, I'd assume.
Yep, of course.
Emporia, black helmets, red uniforms with black numbers, black pants. Battle of the first-year head coaches. Broncos and Spartans. Odell's kick sent, and we're away from Welch Stadium here in Emporia, Kansas, as that one will roll to the back of the end zone for a touchback. And out come the Spartans, and we just have learned Rylan Crowell is not dressed, so he will not be playing tonight, and that has to be a huge blow for the Spartans.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's too bad he's a senior and, one of their top players. So it's too bad, and, it would have been nice to get a look at him, but, too bad for the Spartans.
So Micah Gray to step out at quarterback for Emporia High. Led by a really, really phenomenal offensive line. Michael Wendling, Jose Vargas, David Newton, Jonathan Couch, and Ty Karcher, the 5 up front. On first down, it's a give up the middle, and he'll be stuffed immediately.
Good play by the Bronco defense getting through there. You can see they're going down in a 4-man front this weekend, last week, and most of the season they've been in a 3-man front. And talk to the coaches on the way up. They're going to have to be a little bit more calculated when they decide to blitz. They're going to have to be very sound, like Ryan referenced earlier. They're going to have to be really strong with their gap integrity tonight.
Our Spring Hill Chamber of Keys to the game, presented by the Spring Hill Chamber of Commerce. On second and 7, they'll pitch it out to the outside for Grady Howe, and he is tripped up immediately. Mikey Beck and Benny Reagan out there to make the tackle.
Yeah, Benny did a good job with outside contain. That's something that was lacking in the Eudora game earlier in the year. The cornerbacks are kind of getting sucked in, so he did a good job doing outside contain.
It'll be third down coming up for the Spartans. Third down and 5 coming up. Just a gain of 2 on that last play. 3 in the backfield. Micah Gray under center. It's a give to up the middle, and to be Ben Collins, and just not much there. It's going to be fourth down, and looks to be decision time for Coach Goodman. Fourth down and 2 yards to go, maybe 2.5. And it looks like the Spartans are going to go for it here.
Wow.
Fourth down at the 28-yard line. It's another give to Collins. He's going to be wrapped up immediately, and he's going to be left short. And it's going to be a turnover on downs early for Spring Hill.
That's a tough call offensively. It's back. You're backed up, but I guess Coach got nothing to lose, right?
And it was mentioned that he wanted to put all the seniors that were on offense out there to start off the game. And now it's a 4 and essentially a turnover on down. So out comes the Spring Hill offense and Jordan Miller, and quite a night he had last week through the air. First down, it's a keeper for Miller to the outside. Plenty of room up the sideline to the 5. He dives in. And they're going to say he's just short at the 1-yard line.
Good read by Jordan Miller. Great decision to keep the ball and just following his downfield blocking and just gets right to the pylon. Doesn't quite get in.
So it's going to be first and goal at the 1-yard line. And it'll be interesting to see what this play call could be. 27-yard run for Jordan Miller. They're going to go to the usual formation. Miller, keeper, end zone, touchdown, Spring Hill.
Anytime you get to follow Brooks Bear as your lead blocker out of the backfield, you know good things are going to happen.
1-yard touchdown run for Jordan Miller, and the Broncos on their first offensive drive strike first.
And I could tell you, I mean, what a opening sequence of events there for Spring Hill. You can't ask for any better way to start a game.
Aiden Odell on to kick the PAT, and it looks to be that they don't have enough guys on the field. So out racing in, I believe that was Riley McAvoy or Carson McCormick. Snap is fumbled. Miller has to quickly pick it up. He's still on his feet before being thrown down immediately by Garrett LeBlanc, as Spring Hill will only cash in 6 on the opening drive touchdown. It's a big run for Jordan Miller. He finds the end zone first.
Hi, I'm Katie Casey, and I'm honored to be a third-generation realtor in our Crown Realty family. My dad and grandparents started Crown Realty in 1973, and since then we have grown to become one of the largest brokerages in the Midwest. We now have 8 office locations and over 150 agents covering about 20 counties across Kansas and Missouri. Reach out to us today to experience the Crown Realty difference, where we are committed to treating our agents like family and our clients like royalty.
Back here on Spring Hill Sports Live, Brendan Bowl and Matt Jones, Ryan Jackson here with you from Welch Stadium in Emporia, Kansas. 2 plays, 28 yards, and it's Jordan Miller doing it himself on that drive, finding the end zone for the touchdown.
Yeah, great start for the Broncos, exactly what you need to see, and hopefully the defense come out and do the same thing and get the offense back on the field.
Now, the number on the field is Sawyer Goring, but I'm not sure if that's him or Keegan Eckert has changed to another number this week, as this one is a laser beam, and that's going to be muffed at the 10-yard line, and Emporia is just going to have to fall on it. Garrett LeBlanc, who was able to stop the Broncos on their PAT after the bobbled snap, is going to have to fall on that one, and they'll mark it at the 10-yard line. So Emporia, not ideal field position to start their second drive.
No, that's a scary spot for the Spartan offense to take over.
Again, the Broncos in that 4-man front. Markson and Braden Bell will convert from a linebacker to the opposite DN. And then inside it'll be Barron Harvey as the D tackles. You can see Kyle Stewart slanting in as a 5th option here on first down. It's a keeper for Micah Gray. Gets to the edge, forced out of bounds right inside the 15. They'll mark him down at the 19-yard line.
That was a good read for Gray. He was able to pull it and get around the edge and get just almost to the first down sticks, but a good read by quarterback.
Gain of 9 on that play. 2nd down and 1 for the Broncos coming up. Or the Broncos to defend, I should say, excuse me, as Micah Gray gets back from the sideline to relay the play call here. Only the second meeting between these two teams all time. Again, the Broncos won 49-7 last year. 2nd and 1, a give up the middle, and it's going to be a first down and a bit more to the 26-yard line. Ben Collins will get an 8-yard carry and a first down for the Spartans.
And that was all Collins just fighting for those extra yards to get the first down for the Spartan offense.
Up here in the third floor press box from Welch Stadium.
Not a bad view, is it?
Not a bad view at all.
I do miss like hearing the game, especially high school football, hearing the band, hearing the cheerleaders. We can kind of hear it, but it's kind of fun when we're out in it.
100%. First and 10.
Until it rains.
On the 32-yard line. Man in motion. And it's an early give to Collins, and he'll be taken down immediately, trying to churn forward for a few more yards, but wrapped up. I think Jake Weiss was the one to get there first.
Again, Collins doing a good job, dragging a couple Broncos with him. Quarterback probably could have pulled it, but ended up being an okay play for the Spartan offense.
Big rush of 6 for Collins. Second down and 4. Collins, the 6'2", 210-pound junior, to take the carries from Ryland Crowell. The Broncos seem to be adjusting well in this new defense against this flex-bone offense. On second and 4. Just one out wide. Man in motion is LeBlanc. It's a keeper for Micah Gray, and he'll be taken down immediately there. Andrew Poland, and also accompanied there, Kyle Stewart.
Much better start for Emporia on this drive so far.
Pick up the first down once again. Looks to be the Emporia might be taking a page out of Eudora's book and just chewing as much clock as they can, and they certainly seem to be getting enough plays in to be able to chew a bit of clock here.
Well, their offensive line is doing much better this series. They're holding their blocks a little bit longer and not allowing the Broncos to penetrate through.
First down, handoff up the middle for Collins, and he is going to be swarmed right at the 40-yard line. Alex Markson, one of the first ones to get to him before a stampede of Broncos there to make the stop there. Pick up 3 yards on that carry. Second and 7 coming up for the Spartans at the 40-yard line.
And you can see the Bronco defense, they've actually gone to a 5-man front right now. So once they get through that initial point of contact, then you have less players. The Broncos only have 6 guys behind there because they're essentially running a 5-3 defense, which you don't see much in high school football anymore.
Second and 7. Another man in motion and a flag flies. I think it's going to be an illegal, or it'll be encroachment for the Broncos. So it'll be second and 2 coming up now for the Spartans.
And those penalties got to be upsetting to Coach Bouchard. Those silly penalties. The Broncos have been prone to encroachment and offsides this year just because they're an aggressive defense, but we got to line up on the right side of the ball.
So instead of second and 7, it'll now be second and 2 at their own 45-yard line. Big 5-man front now instilled for Spring Hill's defense. It's a give to Collins, slips off one tackle before turning his way to the 50, and another first down. The third straight one on the drive for the Spartans.
And the Spartan offensive line is just dominating right now, and they were 5 yards down the field before Collins even got hit with a Bronco tackler.
Managed to slip by one, Ryan, and then was able to churn forward, carrying several tacklers with him, and looks to be a personnel change as now Lane Newson, the freshman defensive lineman, will check into the game at defensive line. So they'll move Bear to more on the edge. First of the downs at midfield for Emporia. LeBlanc in motion. Micah Gray, a keeper. He'll bounce to the outside, and he'll be wrapped up trying to turn his way forward to the 45. And that's where he'll be marked. Another design keeper for Micah Gray. We've seen him already on this drive now again. He's able to use his legs, and he does it well.
And Gray's limping a little bit there off the field.
Yeah, Micah Gray limping just a little bit. They only have Cale Claiborne, the freshman, as the backup on the depth chart. So
it'll be interesting to see if that maybe changes their game plan here a little bit with, I mean, he's already had a couple runs on this drive, but now that he's limping a little bit, I mean, you never know. That might change things a little bit here.
Pick up a 5 on the last play on the keeper for Gray. Second and 5 at the Bronco 45. He'll keep it himself. Brayton Bill's going to get to him first.
And that seemed like a broken play. You can see he had the ball out, and I think the running, either he turned the wrong way or the running back went the wrong way, and he just had to kind of tuck and salvage what he could.
And they're going to lose just 1 yard So it'll be 3rd down and 6 yards coming up. You can see Coach Vaughn relaying the plays, and we talked to him on the elevator ride actually up here, and he said we gotta switch our plan, and it should work against a flex bone team like this. We don't want to get hurt by another flex bone.
Oh yeah, and he was saying how we just got to simplify things. We just got to stay sound on our assignments.
3rd down and 6. Spartans have converted 3 already. It's a give for Gray, and he's going to be stopped immediately. Brooks Bear also throw in Carter Rainey in on the stop, and it's 4th down for the Spartans.
And loosening up Brooks Bear so he can flow to the play was a good adjustment by the Bronco defensive staff.
And this is better ideal position for the Spartans. They got to go for it here.
Yeah, nobody questions going for it here.
4th down and 5 yards to go. They'll be at the Bronco 45-yard line.
I'm just going to let it run out.
It looks to play clock. Coach Goodman talking with the referee. I think they're going to take a timeout. They'll let the play clock run down. 2:45 left here in the first quarter. The Spartans will talk it over and dial up something here. It's 4th down and 5 when we come back here on Spring Hill Sports Live.
For 50 years, Elliott Group has been your local insurance partner. With 5 convenient locations, Elliott Group is big enough to offer the best carriers, but small enough to know your name and your insurance needs. Elliott Group is more than just insurance. They're a part of each community they serve, with a wide variety of insurance solutions to help your unique challenges. Elliott Group, where they're there for you today and for years to come. Visit them at any of their 5 locations or at ElliottInsuranceGroup.com.
Michael Grant at
Back here on Spring Hill Sports Live, 6-0 Broncos lead it. 2:45 left to go in the first quarter, and it looks to be Emporia is just going to punt after talking things over here. And this one, it's muffed. And they cannot get it off. Daniel Gardner was the one who was supposed to punt it, but he's going to be stopped immediately in his tracks. And the Broncos are going to force their way into Spartan territory. They'll mark him down at the Spartan 40.
Yeah, and as a kicker, I mean, that just shows right there the importance of special teams. I mean, you can't make mistakes like that, and that'll just really screw your field position, as now the Broncos are going to get it in Emporia territory instead of probably getting it back somewhere in their own.
You being the special teams guy yourself, I mean, how important is that, getting that initial snap? And you work on it probably several times throughout the day, but just getting that one, unfortunately, just has to feel a bit frustrating.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, you practice that so much during the week, and, I mean, you really just – you practice that so much, and you really just you got to be able to get it in the game.
So back out is Jordan Miller, trips to the right side here on 1st down. He'll drop back. He wants to throw. He's still dancing. He'll escape out of the pocket, rolling to the right, and he'll just dump it off out of bounds, incomplete.
It's one of those, I think he probably could have ran the ball once he stepped in the pocket, but it's okay to want to try to throw. You know, he had his big run, but one of those decisions where you have to run around the defenders and your offensive linemen, that's a tough completion to make.
2nd down and 10 yards to go. He'll get the call. Peyton Stanley will be in at tight end. He converted that 2-point conversion. It was a big 2-point conversion in that game against Paola, which we knew would be Brooks Bear and Riley McAvoy, but also noting down in the interview with Coach Tuttle that Peyton Stanley would be a part of this offense. He'll be attached to the right side. A big design, and Coach Bashar is going to take a timeout. I don't think the Broncos are on the same page.
Didn't look like it.
Broncos take a timeout here, too, in the first quarter. 2:28 to go here in quarter number 1.
Michael Grant at Farm Bureau Financial Services is a proud supporter of Spring Hill and cheering on the Broncos. At Farm Bureau Financial Services, their #1 goal is to protect you and your family. Insurance is complicated and not one size fits all. Michael and his team take pride in the relationship they build with their client members. Let them work with you to customize a plan that protects your livelihood and your future. To learn more, call Michael Grant at Farm Bureau Financial Services 913-592-2336 or visit them at 117 South Main in
Back here on Spring Hill Sports Live, and notably you'd hear a bit of the crowd noise, but due to where we are in the press box, it's a little difficult to get the crowd noise. The only way to get it is you have to lure your microphone all the way from this little PVC pipe dial below us. Interesting concept, but we won't question it at all. And flag will fly, and the Broncos will pick up penalty number 2 on the evening for a false start.
Focus penalties like that are frustrating because you just got to stay disciplined. Scored pretty easily on your first drive out. Defense came up with a stop, 2 stops. Broncos need to refocus and get clicking.
And especially after you just got out of a timeout, too.
Right.
They'll make a change. Keegan Folk in, and out will be Eli Hedrick. Second down and 15 coming up. Broncos shooed back to the Spartan 46-yard line. Go tight ends attached on either side. It's the first give to Kachaver, and he'll only get maybe a few yards on that carry. Just 2 yards on that carry. He'll be brought down by number 60, and Calvin Crowell, the junior. So it'll be 3rd down and 13 coming up for the Broncos.
And the interior defensive line, they've got some size, not real tall, but they've got some bulk. The interior defensive line.
Spartans are going to simulate some pressure here. It's a keeper for Miller. There he goes. He's got the first down past the 30.
That's a pretty wild play. Mason Dotson with the handoff, and then he pitches it to Miller going around corner. That's something that we haven't seen this year, so the Broncos offensive staff keeping it interesting for the kids.
And I held my breath there because I didn't initially see. I figured Miller would get the ball initially, but it was only a matter of time. And that big design there from Coach Myers, and he's always got a trick up his sleeve, Ryan.
Oh, yeah, Coach Myers, I mean, it looks like this year especially, the creativity has been great. What is going on here?
What is going on here? Hold on. 3 down linemen. It's a screen to Folk, and there goes Keegan Folk up the sideline, and I think they're going to call legal formation.
I mean, there, you see the creativity again on display. Wow.
Oh, it's a false start instead. So the Broncos, with the most insane design you will see.
It's like a swinging gate-ish type formation.
Similar.
You know, you got to think, Coach Bouchard's been doing this long enough. This is all going to be on film, whether it's a penalty or not, and Lewisburg is going to watch this. So if nothing else, Lewisburg's going to have to spend time on the last 2 plays that we've seen. Whether we're going to do it or not gives Lewisburg something else that they have to prepare for.
1st down and 15. Empty backfield for Jordan Miller. Now it'll be Dotson motioning in to his left. And it looks to be Spring Hill's going to have to burn another timeout. Just not on the same page again. And we haven't seen this since week 1.
Correct. I think right now they're getting a little too cute with themselves. I always say that about the Chiefs sometimes when they run their wild plays. But let's just get back to basics. Let's convert. You know, you only have a 6-point lead, so it's only the first quarter. Let's establish a little bit of a cushion before we start getting fancy.
We'll keep it here on the timeout, and this has been an interesting. Again, like we mentioned, this has now happened since week 1, and from there we've seen the Broncos, maybe they've had to burn just 1 timeout, maybe late in the first quarter, early in the second quarter, but never have we seen them burn 2 timeouts since week 1, and I think they just wanted to include some things that just confuse this Emporia Spartans defense.
I totally agree.
Another interesting thing to note, Coach Haver, he's really hasn't been involved too much recently, so we'll see if they go more to him here coming up.
He's to the left of Miller on 1st and 15. They'll give it to him, and the Spartans stuff the box, and they read it perfectly. They'll give the tackle to Ben Collins, was one of the 2 in the mix. Also got to give it to Jose Vargas, the 6'1", 290-pound senior.
That's a big boy, plugging up the middle.
They'll pick up only just 2 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 13, and this will be the final play of the first quarter. Play clock down to 15 seconds. 2 in the backfield with Miller. On 2nd down, it's a give to Dotson on an end-around play, and the Spartans read it well. big tackle there as Grady Howe was the first one to get to Dotson on that little trick play there in the backfield.
Yeah, another trick play, and it was kind of took a little bit long to develop. I feel like he started to the right, and then he kind of cut back, but by that time, Emporia had read it and already started flowing to the perimeter.
Broncos will hustle on the field. 5 seconds remain, and I think they'll just let it run out. They will. Clock to 0 as we're through 12 here in quarter number 1. It's only 6-0. Be back with the second quarter here on Spring Hill Sports Live.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here, studying animal science or learning about farm and ranch management. Maybe you belong here as part of Hounds Hoops on the hardwood. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
My experience at Strode Orthodontics was amazing. Like most people who had their first round of braces, I forgot to wear my retainer and so therefore had crooked teeth. I got engaged this year. I wanted straight teeth for my wedding, and so Dr. Strode was able to give me Invisalign, and now I have the straight smile that I've always wanted. We're gonna get such a welcoming experience here. The day of my wedding, I'm not going to be scared to take pictures. Now I can finally be confident with my smile on that big day.
Back here, quarter number 2 from Welch Stadium in Emporia, Kansas. Home of not only the Hornets, but the Spartans. On 3rd down and 12, Miller drops back hit as he throws, and it's caught by Dotson. It'll be just short. He's marked down at the 1-yard line. First and goal at the 1-yard line. I could hear the Broncos coaches down the way. They were really frustrated that he was not in.
Well, he went through the pylon, so it's actually kind of, I thought he was in, but we're not the ones down there making the call. But a good ball by Jordan Miller, and just wait to catch it.
And Coach Bouchard even went all the way into the field just to let the referees know.
Well, I think he's right.
First and goal at the 1. It's a give to Dotson. Trying to push his way in, and Emporia pushing their way back. Loss of a yard, so it'll be second and goal with 2 yards to go.
Then again, the Broncos having trouble with that interior defensive line of the Spartans. They're gonna have to go. They're gonna have to widen it out a little bit because that Vargas in the front solid.
Jordan Miller looks to be limping a little bit. I think he looks to be definitely after that hit.
We ran up to the pile to to push, and that's probably something where your quarterback should stay away.
Second down and goal, 2 yards to go. It's a give to Dotson. He's in. Touchdown, Spring Hill.
Well played by the Broncos. Did just what we asked for, went a little bit wider. Able to get into the touchdown for the score.
And the Broncos, they score in the first quarter to start off the game. They score here to start off the second quarter. And it's a big 12-0 score for the Broncos.
Got to go for 2 now.
They will go for 2 here. Broncos will huddle up here as they want to make it an even score. 4 out wide. Kuchaver to the left. Miller will drop back, and he's going to be wrapped down immediately. Tarek Franklin, the one to get to him, and the Broncos will only get another 6 on the board as they lead at 12-0, 11:05 to go here in quarter number 2.
Auction Bank, community banking at its best. Member FDIC, equal housing.
I've been doing real estate for 8 years now, and we've run across clients where they're interested in land, but then what do we do with it? Well, what do you want to do with it?
There's a lot of pressure on the individuals now to make those decisions quickly. And I think with our experience, with our backgrounds, we know how to work with the cities and how to work with the contractors to make it a smoother process for the buyer.
So if you're looking for real estate
or land planning services,
contact us today at epre.biz.
Back here on Spring Hill Sports Live, 12-0 Broncos lead. A blown-up field goal and then a sack on the two-point conversion has forced the Broncos just to 12 as Odell kicks this one off. This is to Oliver Klein, the sophomore. He'll find an edge on the outside. He's pushed out of bounds at the 30-yard line. And that could have been dangerous if the Broncos did not get there in time.
Well, he almost beat the outside contain. The containment lane guys for the Broncos had gotten sucked in a little bit. Luckily, they had some speed and athleticism and were able to get outside and make that play. Otherwise, you're right. That could have been a huge return.
So back out comes Micah Gray. And Ryan, what have you seen from the Spartans so far in these first two drives?
Well, I mean, that first drive, obviously, they came out a little bit slow, decided to, take a risk going for it on fourth down. But it looked like that last drive, maybe that's something they can build off of. They got a couple good first downs and a couple nice runs in there, so we'll see.
1st and 10, man in motion. It's a keeper to Gray, actually, and he'll push his way to the 35. Brooks Bear, Mikey Beck, the two there.
Oh, he's really limping.
Gray is really limping. And he's really limping. And Coach Goodman's trying to cheer him up, but you can see Gray is limping to the huddle there. That's not a good sign. And I don't see Cal Claiborne warming up on the sideline either, so this could be interesting. Who would go in at quarterback if Gray cannot continue? 2nd and 3. Give to Collins, and he'll stumble his way to the 40-yard line and move the chains. Spartans will pick up the first down there.
54 for the Spartans. Aiden Ocampo was just driving his man about 10 to 15 yards down the field. Their interior offensive line and the defensive line have been really successful so far tonight.
5'10", 280-pound sophomore getting it done up the middle. Spartans have a new set of downs at their own 40-yard line. They converted 3 first down. They've picked up the first down 3 times. It's a keeper for Gray. That's blown up immediately. Brooks Bear.
Man, he is fast off the ball.
So fast. And Gray, you could tell he bubbled the ball just enough to make the whole flex bone throw off. And then that's the offense. It's all predicated on consistency and the quarterback being able to direct the offense. And if there's a slight modification in the timing, everything is off.
And it looked to be he was going to hand it off to Collins, but then kind of made up his mind at the last second. And Bear blew it up immediately. A loss of 2 on the plays. It'll be 2nd down and 12. Emporia has not really been behind the sticks all that much so far in the first half. Man in motion. Couch, 2nd and 12. They'll give it to Collins this time. Immediately blown up. Braden Bell and Kyle Stewart in there as well. And that one also blown up. It's going to be no gain on that one. 3rd down and 12 coming up for the Spartans.
And with Gray limping, that makes it difficult for Emporia to run their offense because he needs to be able to carry the ball. He needs to be a threat for the option offense to work.
We have not seen a throw yet from Emporia, so 3rd and long here. Maybe see our first one here tonight from them.
3rd down and 12, again from their own 38-yard line. Man in motion, Crouch. It's a keeper for Gray to the outside. Bears there to trip him up.
And he definitely looks a step slower than he was a couple plays ago. I think that ankle's definitely bothering him.
And Gray off to the sideline immediately. And it looks to be, the Spartans are going to punt it here. They're going to put Daniel Gardner, the junior, back in punt formation. Keegan Folk, Benny Reagan will be back deep for the Broncos here. And again, it's another drive that the Spartans have been stalled out here. It looks to be that Gray just only got a yard, so it'll be on the 39-yard line for Gardner to punt. And over end kick, Reagan will catch it at the 29, and here goes Benny Reagan. Cuts inside and gets to about the 41-yard line where there's a bit of pushing and shoving after the play, but Benny Reagan just only a return of maybe 2 yards. The Broncos will see the ball once more. 7:21 to go here in this second quarter. And the Broncos certainly want to look for probably a 2-point conversion if they do score. Maybe they'll settle for the field goal. Who knows? But they've been stopped twice so far, but they've not been held out of the end zone today.
Be interesting to see if they come out with the showy offense or the let's get it done offense.
It's a quick flip out to the outside for Hank Kachaver. There goes Hank Kachaver making a miss. There goes Hank Kachaver beating everybody on that one. One play touchdown, Spring Hill.
And I think we got our questions answered. They came to a traditional, just hand it off to Kachaver and let him do his work.
As I talked about pregame, there's that, explosiveness and vision that I talked about with Hank, and I mean, right there, you just see it right on display. That was a great run.
Yeah, he had a great cut once he got to that second level. Just made one cut, 2 cuts, gone.
And the Broncos will just kick the extra point here. Snap good that whole time, good. But a line drive kick that sails to the right. And the Broncos cannot convert an extra point there again.
Special teams miscues.
18-0 Bronco lead. They find the end zone midway through the second quarter.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here, preparing for a career in healthcare as part of Fort Scott Community College's nursing program. Or maybe you belong on stage as part of the Hounds band or theater department. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
Back here in Spring Hill Sports Live, Broncos starting to slowly pull away here in the first half. 18-0 lead. A big 60-yard run for Hank Kachaver. And the Broncos find pay dirt once again here in the second quarter. 2 scores so far for Spring Hill. They'll go to the kickoff with Sawyer Goring. 2 back deep for the Spartans. And this kick will have some distance to it. It'll bounce at the 10-yard line. And a big carry that'll go to the 10-yard line. Mikey Beck on the stop.
And you got to think the special teams coaches for Emporia are going to say, let that go out of bounds. Let us work with the field position.
It looks like Emporia's going to go with a new quarterback here, possibly.
So it is going to be Cale Claiborne in at quarterback now, as I'm not seeing Micah Gray at all. There he is. He's
icing.
He's icing his knee, so he will not be. He's not out of his full pads, but he's on the sideline with no helmet. So Cale Claiborne, the freshman, will step in at quarterback for the Spartans. The freshman give an early give on first down to Collins, and he'll just stumble forward for a yard. Brought down by Mason Harvey.
It's a tough spot for a young quarterback to be in. You're already down and getting towards the end of the season. Hopefully he's had enough reps, but that's a really tough spot for him.
We already saw it with Ottawa. Aaron Blaine had to step in for the injured Hayden Hole. So you go from an upperclassman to an underclassman in a big pivotal situation like this where, yeah, this is about the same situation we saw Blaine come in. It was that second quarter, midway through. So big pivotal spot for Claiborne here on 2nd down and 9. At the 12-yard line, and Coach Goodman's going to take a timeout. So both teams will have used 2 timeouts already here in this first half. 6:12 to go here in the first half. 18-0 Bronco lead.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here, preparing for a career in healthcare as part of Fort Scott Community College's nursing program. Or maybe you belong on stage as part of the Hounds band or theater department. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
Back here on Spring Hill Sports Live, 18-0 Bronco lead, 6:12 to go in the half. Spartans having to go with their young freshman quarterback in Cale Claiborne, as Micah Gray will be icing his knee for the remainder of the half, hoping he can get back out there in the third quarter, but certainly another big blow to the Spartans, who already don't have their top rusher. 2nd and 9. Couch in motion, and the ball's fumbled down. And the Broncos will pick it up.
And Brooks Bear, who else? Flying through the middle, and he's just creating havoc. You know the Broncos were going to send it right there and create some disturbance, and that's exactly what they did. The Broncos are set up for another touchdown.
And Kyle Stewart, who forced the fumble last week for the first score of the game for the Broncos, led the team in tackles with 15. He's the one to fall on it. This is now his third fumble he's recovered this year in Kyle Stewart, and we talk so much about Brooks Bear in the front line and also the linebackers, but Kyle Stewart has been phenomenal so far this year in his senior campaign.
He really has. He's been a go-to guy. He's kind of quiet under the radar, but he's been very consistent for the Bronco D.
Low snap. Miller is going to look to keep it himself. Now he wants to throw, but he's hit immediately. Ben Collins is going to take down Jordan Miller.
And Miller's going to he has to be a little more decisive with that. He's rolling out. He wasn't going fast enough. If you're going to roll out, you got to roll out and commit to it. But he probably should have step up in the pocket and either decided to run it or get rid of it quickly. But he was just kind of really slow getting around the corner.
Could be 2nd and goal at the 16-yard line. New formation for the Broncos. Dotson will flip it to Cameron Wells, and look at Cameron Wells go. Bounces to the outside. He's there for the touchdown. And what kind of design have we seen there from the Broncos? Cameron Wells, a 16-yard touchdown rush, and Spring Hill adds on another score here in the first half.
And once again, coming to the trick plays, using the reverse, and you see Jordan Miller out there on the perimeter blocking, and he did a really good job. That's a typical place for a hold on the perimeter, and Jordan did a really good job getting his head on the right side, so didn't get called for holding, able to spring his teammate for the touchdown.
And, for a quarterback, he is not willing to back down from anybody.
He's not. No, I love that about him. No fear.
And that kid's been as gritty as they come. Snap good, hold good, kick. Again, to the right, no good. As the Broncos will stay still at 24-0. Broncos pulling away here in the first half. Back after 30 seconds. You're watching Bronco football on Spring Hill Sports Live.
Hi, I'm Katie Casey, and I'm honored to be a third-generation realtor in our Crown Realty family. My dad and grandparents started Crown Realty in 1973, and since then we have grown to become one of the largest brokerages in the Midwest. We now have 8 office locations and over 150 agents covering about 20 counties across Kansas and Missouri. Reach out to us today to experience the Crown Realty difference, where we are committed to treating our agents like family and our clients like royalty.
Back here on Spring Hill Sports Live, a big touchdown for Cameron Wells, a 16-yard double reverse as the Broncos find pay dirt once again, and they're starting to pull away here in this ball game.
And all their touchdowns have been big plays. They haven't had a sustained drive the whole game. It's just been living and dying by the big play.
As if the loss of options they have on offense isn't a big momentum killer already. It's been the big plays for Spring Hill that's certainly pulling down the Spartans as they'll try and continue to look for their first score of the ball game. A lot going on here on the campus of Emporia State University. Hornets volleyball down the way in downtown Emporia at White Auditorium. I was just there in February.
Yes, I was.
Odell end over end kick inside the 5. This will be taken in by Oliver Klein and gets stuffed at the 15 and immediately brought down. Sam Abbott, one of the first two to get there. Kyle Stewart as well. And it looks to be that there's a fight for the ball at the end, but I think Spartans are already down. Caden McKenna looks like another one of the guys in there in the scrimmage is. The Broncos will play defensively at the Spartan 14-yard line. And Jonesy, what's it got to be for the Spartans here?
I think the main thing is obviously they got to hold on to the ball. You got to make it easy for your young quarterback so he doesn't have to make any huge plays with his legs.
First down give for Collins, and he'll get only a few yards on that carry. Tackled by McKenna on that one.
And that's the type of stuff that they want to see. 4 and 5 yards. They don't need a big play right now. Right now, they just need to kind of work their way down the field and keep the Broncos off of the field.
McKenna only logged 3 tackles last week against the Panthers. Big special teams guy we've seen so far this season. Second down and 7. Quick hitter to Collins again, trying to bounce to the outside, but immediately wrapped up and stuffed. Carter Rainey was the one pushing him down, but immediately wrapped up as that's going to be, I believe, Blake Surrey in on the tackle.
Bronco defense doing a good job. They've started flowing to the perimeter a little bit better.
Spartan student section below us is trying to make some noise here. All dressed in their Western gear. And Broncos look to have a camo theme night tonight.
They do, yes.
And in motion here on third down, it's again to Collins, but immediately wrapped up at the 20-yard line. And they'll give the stop to Braden Bell, and it's another 4th down coming up, and out comes the punting unit.
Bell did a good job reading that play. He was trailing from behind and made a good sure tackle.
Again, both teams with a timeout each, and I think Emporia is just going to try and use as much clock as they can to run down. And this Spartans team, again, has to give the ball back to the Broncos. They've already scored 18 points in this quarter, 24 in the game. Low snap that bounces right, almost blocked, but manages to get bounced in, and Volk will let it roll all the way to the 32-yard line. You can see Garrett LeBlanc just tried to,
hey, whatever it takes, man.
use his arms to push the ball backwards as more as it can, but they'll mark it at the 32, and that's where the Broncos will get their start on offense once again.
Considering the snap and everything, that's actually managed to be a really good punt for them. Almost flipped the field completely.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
They almost did not get it off, and somebody flew in there and almost got a hand on it. Would not be surprised, because Kyle Stewart had one last week.
Well, Falk, he went away from the ball, but then he kind of ran back right at it. Like,
and then ran away from it again. Senior night here at Welch Stadium for the Emporia High Spartans. And the Broncos look to hard to be playing spoilers here in the first half, as the offense will come back out on the field. And I think the Broncos have just used their final timeout. And they did. No timeouts remaining for the Broncos. 2:50 to play here in the first half. Big quarter for the Broncos. Can they finish the job with another touchdown? We'll find out after a word from our sponsor.
Up your lawn care game at Hers Inc. in Spring Hill. We have one of the area's largest and most diverse selections of lawnmowers, including top brands like Altos, Bobcat, Gravely, Dixie Chopper, and Red Max. Quality built machines for any size job. And when you get your mower at Hers, we offer full service and repairs covered by your warranty. From the backyard to the back 40, the all-star lineup of mowers at Hers will make you the captain of the lawn. See the full lineup at hersinc.net. Call 913-247-3530 or just stop.
Back here on Spring Hill Sports Live, a quick first down give to Kachaver. Bounces to the outside. Kachaver, plenty of room. Torn down past the 50. They'll mark him down at the 45-yard line.
And Ryan, going back to your comment earlier about his vision, you could see he's just taking short, choppy steps following his blockers, just kind of ebbing and flowing down the field, waiting for that block to spring him. Great job by Hank.
Yeah, great. And also the blocking on the outside there. Really good.
Which, as you know, is hard to do.
Oh, yeah. And Coach Heichman, wide receiver coaches, he always has been preaching blocking. And if you can't block, you won't find yourself on the field. But that shows right there that really good blocking there from the outside.
And the Broncos will march back 5 yards after they pick up a new set of downs there on a false start. Just only the third penalty called on the Broncos tonight.
Well, I feel like when going to halftime, Coach Bouchard, even though they're currently at a 24-point lead, you're going to see Coach probably a little frustrated with some of the sloppiness that the Broncos are showing.
I mean, even then, he was still a bit frustrated in the second half after Pale was managing to get some scores on him. Low snap. Miller will keep it here on 1st and 15, and he's tripped up and down immediately. Big tackle there.
That was a really nice tackle by 21.
It really was.
Brody Telfer was called for the tackle there, the 5'10", 215-pound senior. This is an interesting defense. Emporia runs 4-2-5, but I'd call it a 4-2-4-1. They just have one nickel all the way in the back in Oliver Klein. Second down and long. Miller, pocket collapse, and he'll step up. He'll run here. He's got a first down and a few more yards, barreling his way forward past a Spartan, I believe. It was Talon Kirk. He just barreled right through. And Miller, with the pocket collapsing, stepping up and getting the first down.
And that's when he's at his best, when he doesn't think, he just goes. He was able to just get up in the pocket and use his athleticism and run.
Broncos will hurry up. 1st and 10 at the Spartan 31. And the Spartans will take a timeout to try and slow down the Broncos as they went quick. Minute 16 to go here in the first half. Broncos lead it by a lot.
Spring Hill's hometown shop is J&T Auto Service. As a full-service repair shop, J&T Auto Service works on all makes and models. Diesels, Europeans, they do it all. From combines to Corvettes. Visit J&T Auto Service for oil changes, tires, brakes, alignments, electrical diagnostics, and so much more. Small town, friendly service with high-tech tools and training. Schedule your service at J&T Auto Service. Call 913-592-6424. You can also visit jtautoinc.com.
.116 to go here in the first half. Broncos with the ball at the Spartan 31-yard line. Minute 16. Broncos are driving low snap. Miller with it here on 1st and 10. He wants to throw. Here comes the pressure. He'll step up and fire towards the sideline. And it's going to be
what a catch.
Caught. Oh, my goodness. Riley McAvoy. What a catch there from the freshman.
Showing shades of his older brother, Peyton, there.
And that was a great catch. I looked to me like he was out of bounds, but the official was standing right on top of it, so we'll go with what he says.
Broncos will speed it up here again. New set of downs. They'll give it to Kachaver. Bounces to the outside. Ben Collins will tear him down at the 10-yard line.
Great jump cut by Kachaver to his left, able to accelerate right up.
Broncos will continue to hurry up here. Just have to go straight to the wristband or what you know here. 2nd and 4, gain of 6 on the last play. Just one in the backfield with Miller. It's a bootleg play. Miller wants to find the end zone. He'll keep it himself. Why not? Gets the first down as he's out of bounds past the 5-yard line. And did he get it there? Or no, they said he was just an inch short. Third down in a matter of a no card.
Yeah, that's super close. Looked like the way he extended the ball out in front of him.
Nope, now they'll motion. Yep, okay, now it is first and goal.
Smart play there by Miller to also know the clock and get out of bounds.
Right.
35.5 seconds is where the clock stops. They'll have enough time to go to the sideline to get a play dialed up here. On the ball now, play clock down to under 10 seconds. Kachaver now inside the slot here. They'll give it to Dodson, and he's going to be ripped down inside the 5 at the 4-yard line. Ben Collins again bringing him down here, and Bouchard will just quickly motion to Miller, get his guy set and going here.
Yeah, they have no timeouts left.
Motioning Kachaver on second down, high throw. It's going to be caught by Dotson, but slips and falls at the 1-yard line. It'll be third down and goal. Broncos have to get on the ball quick. Miller under center now, spikes it. And the play clock, or the game clock, was not stopped.
No, it should be at least about 3 seconds on it. The officials, they'll cover it. They saw it, and you could hear the Spring Hill coaches yelling, "Stop it."
So they're going to motion up to the press box here, right next to me, and what time needs to be on. .107. 1 second.
Either way, whether it's 1.7 or 3.7, and you got one play essentially. So,
no, not 16 minutes. So they're gonna take time for the operator to get the game clock set. 1.6 seconds is on the clock, and the Spring Hill coach is not liking that to us next door. Chaos up here. They'll keep it here. Motion, everybody in the backfield. Miller keeps it, dives in. Is he in? Yes, he is. Touchdown, Spring Hill. 2 touchdowns for Jordan Miller on the ground, and the Broncos will cap off this first half with 30.
And Miller did a great job just finding that crease and accelerating upfield, getting a score for the Broncos.
Broncos will kick the extra point here as they'll now go with Keegan Eckert, I believe. Snap good, hold good, kick. No good. And the Broncos will be stifled here on the extra point as they finish with a big 24-point second quarter to take the lead at the half, 30-0. When we come back, it's our Michael Grant at Farm Bureau Financial Services halftime show. We'll break down the first half, give you some scores from around the area, and look forward to what's coming up next here in the second half. You're watching Bronco football on Spring Hill Sports Live. Broncos lead at 30-0, headed to halftime.
Michael Grant at Farm Bureau Financial Services is a proud supporter of Spring Hill and cheering on the Broncos. At Farm Bureau Financial Services, their #1 goal is to protect you and your family. Insurance is complicated and not one size fits all. Michael and his team take pride in the relationship they build with their client members. Let them work with you to customize a plan that protects your livelihood and your future. To learn more, call Michael Grant at Farm Bureau Financial Services 913-592-2336 or visit them at 117 South Main in Spring Hill.
I've been doing real estate for 8 years now, and we've run across clients where they're interested in land, but then what do we do with it? Well, what do you want to do with it?
There's a lot of pressure on individuals now to make those decisions quickly. And I think with our experience, with our backgrounds, we know how to work with the cities and how to work with the contractors to make it a smoother process for the buyer.
So if you're looking for real estate
or land planning services,
contact us today at epre.biz.
For 50 years, Elliott Group has been your local insurance partner. With 5 convenient locations, Elliott Group is big enough to offer the best carriers, but small enough to know your name and your insurance needs. Elliott Group is more than just insurance. They're a part of each community they serve, with a wide variety of insurance solutions to help your unique challenges. Elliott Group, where they're there for you today and for years to come. Visit them at any of their 5 locations or at ElliottInsuranceGroup.com.
First Option Bank Community Banking at its best. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
For more than 20 years, Gherkin Rental has been the place to go to get the job done in eastern Kansas and western Missouri. With a huge selection of quality equipment, from roll-offs to trailers, telehandlers to generators, power washers to popcorn makers. Experienced equipment professionals and clean, well-maintained tools to help you get the job done right the first time. Gherkin Rental. Stop by any of their 13 locations across the KC Metro or call 855-GHERKINS. That's 855-437-5367.
Back on the air here on Spring Hill Sports Live. It's halftime at Welch Stadium, home of the Hornets and, of course, the Emporia High Spartans. 30-0 our score. Broncos, a big second quarter. The difference between these two sides. I'm Brendan Bullen, Matt Jones, and Ryan Jackson next to me, and it's time for our halftime show. Our halftime show is presented by Michael Grant at Farm Bureau Financial Services. Michael's goal is to help you plan for the unexpected to protect your future. Getting to know you and the things that are most important to you will help them customize the right plan for your needs. To learn more, visit them at 117 South Main in Spring Hill or call 913-592-2336. And Jonesy, kind of your just overall take, and Ryan, I'll throw you in there too. Just your overall takes on the first half for both these teams.
Well, albeit the Broncos have been a little bit sloppy, but they've been able to convert. So they're right now they're clicking as far as like the plays and the execution of the plays, but just some little penalties they need to clean up as they go through halftime here.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just maybe clean up. I mean, also after the touchdown, just got to clean up those extra points and 2-point conversions. I mean, they have not converted one yet today, so that's something they can probably clean up, I think, this second half.
Yeah, definitely. And if they're gonna have struggle with the kicking game, then they just need to commit to going for 2, one or the other. They just kind of need to decide which way they're gonna go with that.
Initially, the first extra point they tried to go for, it was a low snap that they did not get it off. They went for 2. Miller did not convert, and then the next few extra points just missed wide to the right. And of course, we were talking about it during the break. It's a new snapper in Max Kachaver. It's a new holder in Jordan Miller, and it's a rotating kicking field goal unit, and it'd be either Goring or it's Eckert, but he's wearing number 41 initially, and also you have Odell, and you're switching from left to right. So initially, the unit's almost different every single time, but so far they've not found an answer on converting on 1 or 2.
No, and that makes a huge difference, as Ryan stated. All of those things matter. It's not just the kicker. I mean, that whole thing functions on the not only the blocking, but the snapping and the hold, and then the kicker executing it.
Yep, exactly. And, you know, I mean, as you were saying with, like, all those new moving parts, like we said, Brady Coltharp out for the year. He was my holder the entirety of last season, and he did a really, really good job at as a holder. And I can tell you just as a kicker, like, it's you really got to have a lot of trust in your holder and snapper. And, you know, maybe they're struggling a little bit with that right now, but maybe they clean that up in the second half. And if maybe they don't get another attempt at it, then maybe that's something you just clean up in practice next week and get it ready for the big game versus Lewisburg.
And this Spartans team, it's not gone their way, certainly at all. And they started with going for it on 4th down inside their own 30, and then from there they just were not able to convert on 4th down past midfield, and then after that they've had to punt several times, and without their leading rusher, it hurts. They were able to convert at least 4 first downs, but after that, it's just not gone their way. And to add insult to injury, Gray was out for the remainder of the first half. So you're wondering, into the locker room, who's going to be quarterback in the second half?
Yeah, that kind of it makes you worry a little bit because, you know, Gray was doing a good job with his reads. He was doing a good job being able to carry the ball, and that's a different dimension to their offense. And without that, they're going to struggle.
Yep, agreed.
And before we head to another quick commercial break, I mean, the offense does not appear to be any different than what we've seen. We've just seen a lot of trick plays so far that Spring Hill's gone out of the bag. And I mean, in longevity, is it just confusing the Emporia Spartans defense, or what do you think their approach was headed into this game?
I think the approach was to make Lewisburg watch more film and prepare for things. And that's kind of coaches kind of playing mind games with each other. And Bouchard's been around long enough. He knows that the Lewisburg staff's they're going to have to think about it. Their coaching staff's going to have to spend time with it.
And of course, it's not, they definitely are not overlooking the Emporia Spartans. They've talked about how they went into a lot of preparation for this week. But, I mean, you also have to look ahead at what could next week be like if, you know, Eudora loses tonight. They're in the 4th quarter of that game right now, and you've got to go out and play all out against Lewisburg, who could be coming off a loss against the Cyclones. So it's a matter of how you want to approach next week as well into playing this week as well.
Right. And the one thing we've struggled with, we've said it many times, are when the offensive defensive line is playing really hard and they have some size. That's something we've struggled with on both sides of the ball. And, you know, this is a great tune-up opportunity against the Spartans because they've got some size in the interior D-line, and we need to be able to move them around a little bit.
That's part of our Michael Grant at Farm Bureau Financial Services halftime show. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll take you to some scores around the area. A lot of games close to being final or about that mark, but we'll take a look at the games going on that started at 6 o'clock and even those that started at the same time as us at 7. You're watching the Michael Grant at Farm Bureau Financial Services halftime show right here on Spring Hill Sports Live.
Whether you're trying to make the most of the next harvest, navigating a changing business landscape, or planning for the next chapter in your life, the professionals at Prime Accounting Solutions are here to help. With 10 locations, Prime Accounting offers convenient, friendly accounting and tax services at a fair price. Payroll, bookkeeping, business planning, personal tax filing, and more. And now Prime is the place to go for insurance. Bronco fans can find us at 408 North Webster in Spring Hill or call 913-592-2050. To find a location near you, go to primeaccounting.net.
The University of Kansas Health System is proud to be the official healthcare provider of the Kansas City Chiefs. Both organizations know excellence comes through their actions. It's about giving support and collaborating together. It's providing comfort and leadership to forge the path to success. The University of Kansas Health System cares for you in every moment, no matter how small. Learn more at kansashealthsystem.com.
My experience at Strode Orthodontics was amazing. Like most people who had their first round of braces, I forgot to wear my retainer and so therefore had crooked teeth. I got engaged this year. I wanted straight teeth for my wedding, and so Dr. Strode was able to give me Invisalign, and now I have the straight smile that I've always wanted. We're gonna get such a welcoming experience here. The day of my wedding, I'm not going to be scared to take pictures. Now I can finally be confident with my smile on that big day.
Michael Grant at Farm Bureau Financial Services is a proud supporter of Spring Hill and cheering on the Broncos. At Farm Bureau Financial Services, their number one goal is to protect you and your family. Insurance is complicated and not one size fits all. Michael and his team take pride in the relationship they build with their client members. Let them work with you to customize a plan that protects your livelihood and your future. To learn more, call Michael Grant at Farm Bureau Financial Services 913-592-2336 or visit them at 117 South Main in Spring Hill.
Are you looking for a trusted heating and air conditioning contractor? Look no further than Comfort Designs, Spring Hill's heating and air conditioning company. Comfort Designs Heating and Air has 100% NATE certified technicians who are friendly, knowledgeable, and ready to help. They'll care for your home and complete the job with speed and precision. Locally owned and operated right here in Spring Hill for more than 20 years, Comfort Designs Heating and Air Conditioning. See all they have to offer at comfortdesigns.net. Or schedule your appointment at 913-592-4453.
Back here on our Michael Grant at Farm Bureau Financial Services halftime show. Again, 30-0 Broncos lead it into halftime. They will get the ball to start the second half as we'll take you to some our Ellie Insurance Group area matchups. And we'll start in the Frontier League. Baldwin up on Bishop Ward right now, 24-13 that game in the second quarter. No score update on Bonner Springs or Pale unless, Jonesy, you got that one.
All I've seen is 0-0.
Oh, that's all I've seen so far as well. Eudora and Tonganoxie, very close contest in the fourth quarter, 21-17. Eudora Cardinals lead it, but I'm sure that game's probably progressed a little bit more right now. I texted the AD at Tonganoxie, Josie Eastis, of course, my athletic director, of course, so we'll see the update on that one. That game started at 6 o'clock due to the weather. That's supposed to roll in at about the 9 o'clock hour. DeSoto all over Blue Valley Southwest, 45-27 the score in that one. The only UKC team that did not play another UKC opponent. And then some other scores, St. James Academy and Cape and Mount Carmel, 21-14, Thunder lead it. Nothing on Leavenworth against Topeka West so far. 35-14, Jaguars lead it over the Northwest Ravens, so interesting game there.
Boo.
Olathe North and Lawrence Free State all knotted up at 14 headed into halftime. Trailblazers of Gardner Edgerton lead 28-14 over Olathe South. That game, of course, could be updated, but that's all I've seen so far. Ottawa and Lewisburg knotted up at 6 apiece. Interesting game of two young teams battling it out there. Piper and Turner, no score reported on that one yet. That being played in Turner. And actually the Tonganoxie and Eudora game went final. Eudora has won the Frontier League 21-17 the final that one. Congratulations to the Eudora Cardinals, Frontier League champions.
Yeah, deservedly so. I was very impressed with them. They've got some good athleticism, and that game against us, good hard-fought battle, and it's probably feels good for Eudora the last year Spring Hill being in the Frontier League for it not to be Spring Hill winning the Frontier League. So I'm sure that the other Frontier League schools are like, this is our league.
Back out come the Broncos as we'll pile you through some more scores. Shawnee Heights and Lansing, no score reported on that one yet. Olathe West all over Shawnee Mission East, 21-7 right now in the second quarter. Some more scores. Aquinas all over Blue Valley Northwest, 28-7. That game should be wrapped up. Baser only a 7-point lead over the Vikings, 24-17. That game in the final quarter of play. Washington and Schlegel. Washington, the top seed in 5A, and Schlegel playing tonight. No score reported on that one. And
I'd be surprised if Washington loses before the playoffs.
Yeah, that would be very surprising, in fact. Well, one more score to mention, Blue Valley North and Bishop Miege. the Mustangs taking the lead over the Stags 21-10 at halftime.
Surprise.
Very surprised after Gene Weir resigning and Blake Mudd being thrown in as the interim head coach, and he got pretty close last week, but now certainly so far against Bishop Miege, he's getting the ball rolling here.
Right, out of the area, but one game of note is that Hanover right now is up 12-6 over Axel, which Axel's won 56 games in a row, 57 games in a row.
About that much, yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe they're the ones that now hold the longest winning streak in the state of Kansas after Andale dropped their first game last year in quite some time.
I think you're right. Axel's won, I think, 3 8-man Division II titles in a row, possibly 4. But Axel can score at will, so an 8-man football is pretty wild. So we'll see if that score holds. 12-6, pretty low scoring for 8-man.
I've not seen 8-man football at all in my life, but I've seen a bit of highlights, and it certainly looks to be a lot of fun.
I've seen highlights, but I've always wanted to go to a game. One Friday night, we just need to go down and watch in the playoffs. Just pretend we're broadcasting to somebody.
Work trip, why not? Let's do it. That's been our Michael Grant at Farm Bureau Financial Services halftime show. We'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, second half kickoff here from Emporia. You're watching Bronco football on Spring Hill Sports Live, presented by Sturdy Orthodontics.
See the full lineup at hersinc.net. Call 913-247-3530 or just stop on by.
Find whole body wellness with Sozo Chiropractic in downtown Spring Hill. Relax and recharge with medical grade infrared. Experience natural relief with dry needling and acupuncture. Or try stem wave therapy, a cutting edge option for pain relief and healing. Whether it's you, your kids, or your family, Sozo Chiropractic is here to help you feel your best. Visit us at 102 South Main in Spring Hill or call 913-592-0010. Sozo Chiropractic. Relax, restore, and live well.
Back here on Spring Hill Sports Live, and just got a score update on Baser, Linwood, and Topeka Seaman, and we're on upset watch right now. It's Vikings over the Bobcats right now, 33-24. One of the few remaining teams in 5A undefeated in the Bobcats could be toppled here in Week 7.
Yeah, this is scoreboard watching time in for the playoffs because, as everybody knows, it's seeded and it's 1 through 16. So hopefully the Broncos get a favorable draw and they can avoid Mill Valley in the second round for the third straight year.
Ryan, any more additional thoughts there?
I would definitely not want to see Mill Valley. That's my thoughts.
Right.
I don't think anybody would want to.
No.
And especially as them being the 8 seed currently right now, as the way things look, certainly it'll be interesting to see how the last 2 weeks shape up here. Baser could fall down as many as a few spots with only just a few defeated and 1-loss teams. Gardner on to kick off, and this will be on the ground, and away we are here in the third quarter, and the Broncos will set up at the 41-yard line of their own.
After last week, the Broncos should be used to fielding an onside kick after Paola onside all but the last kickoff of the game.
Okay, now another score update. Baser back on top, 39-33.
It's going to be a wild one.
Going to be a wild one here in Baser, Linwood. That's where the game's being played. Now let's take a look at our keys to the second half presented by the Spring Hill Chamber of Commerce, reminding you to shop local. Keep up to date online with Chamber events by visiting them online at springhillks.org or stop by the new office in downtown Spring Hill. And Jonesy, what's the key to the second half here?
Keep it simple. Just do what you're going to do, and let's get out of here with no injuries.
Outside run for Dotson, following behind a blocker there.
It's Clayton Meek. He's out there blocking about 25 yards away from his traditional spot. I love to see the lineman blocking downfield like that.
And looks to be we have a Spartan down on the sideline. And Oliver Klein and Mason Dotson, a huge outside run following Meek. A big first down pickup there. But the Spartans are going to lose their starting nickel and Oliver Klein for the moment. So they're now going to have to throw in Gavin Jennings. No, it looks to be they'll throw in Noah Roadcap, the freshman, and they'll send Grady Howe to the back. Miller under center, and he's going to get the Spartans to jump. The first penalty committed on Emporia in this ball game. So Broncos will have 1st and 5 coming up at the Spartan 37-yard line. And it looks to be out goes Folk, in is Peyton Stanley. So the Broncos will go back again under center with 2 in the back. Keeper for Miller, and he'll be pushed back immediately.
That was well read by the Spartan defense. The dive play was covered, and Miller's keeper was covered, so good play by the Spartans.
2 tacklers on the play for the Spartans, and Miller only gaining 4 yards on that one. 2nd down and, lost a yard there. 2nd and 6, excuse me. 2nd down and 6 for the Broncos here. Miller once more under center. He'll drop back and throw. Man in his face, has to throw it deep down the field. Wide open, Mason Dotson makes the catch at the 10. There goes Dotson to the end zone. Opening corner touchdown for the Broncos.
And Dotson was basically standing like he was in left field. There was nobody around him.
Great pocket awareness there from Miller, too. He narrowly avoided the sack and then found his man wide open. Really good play by him as well.
And when he can set his feet, Miller can heave it.
Oh, yeah.
A big 38-yard touchdown pass, the first passing touchdown tonight for Jordan Miller. And the Broncos find themselves in the end zone to open up this 3rd quarter, and it looks to be they're going to go for 2. Low snap, Miller gets it. Dotson is overthrown there, and the Broncos again stifled on the 1 or 2 point conversions there.
That's a tough throw. You want to make sure that it's a little bit high into the outside, because if you throw that inside, it's an interception easy.
36-0. Miller finds the end zone to Mason Dotson.
Whether you're trying to make the most of the next harvest, navigating a changing business landscape, or planning for the next chapter in your life, the professionals at Prime Accounting Solutions are here to help. With 10 locations, Prime
Back here on Spring Hill Sports Live, 36-0. A big 38-yard touchdown strike from Jordan Miller to find Mason Dotson. One of his favorite targets through the air. We've seen Keegan Folk, we've seen Cameron Walls, but we're always used to seeing Mason Dotson be open and be able to make catches in space. And
ever since his breakout last year, I mean, he's really been a great playmaker for this Broncos offense. It's opened up a lot in the passing game too.
So they'll kick it off here. A big kick here that'll be caught at the 15 and taken up to the sideline, and he'll be forced out of bounds at the 34-yard line. He'll be forced out by Siler Stewart. And the Spartans will go to work here. And Jonesy, how do you respond on a big strike like that?
Well, that's tough. You come out, you want your adjustments to work that you made at halftime, and that's just really hard to come back. It's really hard to rally after being down 30-0 at the half. Now they've already been scored again, so they have a tough road ahead.
First down It's a give up the middle to Ben Collins, and he'll be taken down immediately. Braden Bell, Sadler Stewart, Brooks Bear all in on the stop there. As the Broncos will force a loss of a yard there, so it'll be 2nd and 11 coming up. Time continuing to wind down. Again, 45 points the mark for running clock here in the third quarter, 35 in the fourth. Man in motion for the Spartans. It's a keeper this time for Cale Claiborne, and nothing doing there. So Claiborne will remain at quarterback here in the second half for the Spartans. As no Gray there. Not seeing him on the sideline at all, so they'll stick with Claiborne, the freshman here, and I believe at this point in the game, I think it's just only reasonable that you don't get your junior quarterback hurt anymore.
I agree.
Maybe get him some reps and, get him some experience as well.
Claiborne only a freshman, Gray only a junior, so one more year starting. Pitch out, that's bobbled and immediately pressed out, and the ball comes out. Brooks Bear picks it up, and he'll take it to the end zone.
It's like a weekly thing now for him.
What does he have, 5 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns?
That's his 5th touchdown on the season defensively.
That's unheard of for a defensive player to have 5 touchdowns on defense and special teams. That's just crazy.
42-0, and already the second score in the corner for Spring Hill.
They read that pitch perfectly, too.
They did, and if you notice, they had their attack defense on where they were about 3 or 4 yards off the line of scrimmage, and they just barnstormed them.
Oh, they'll try the extra point here with Odell. Snap good, hold good, kick is through, and Aiden Odell converts the extra point there, and that certainly has to be a sigh of relief for the Spring Hill coaching staff.
And Odell's pumping his arms as he's running off, and they're excited. It's the little things.
It's a big confidence boost.
It is.
43-0. Broncos lead it. Their second score of the third quarter comes from none other than Brooks Bear's 5th touchdown defensively.
Whether you're trying to make the most of the next harvest, navigating a changing business landscape, or planning for the next chapter in your life, the professionals at Prime Accounting Solutions are here to help. With 10 locations, Prime Accounting offers convenient, friendly accounting and tax services at a fair price. Payroll, bookkeeping, business planning, personal tax filing, and more. And now Prime is the place to go for insurance. Bronco fans can find us at 408 North Webster in Spring Hill or call 913-592-2015. To find a location near you, go to primeaccounting.net.
Back here on Spring Hill Sports Live, and we were talking about it over the break. This is Bears' 5th touchdown defensively on the season, and it was only a matter of time coming from, being a young sophomore, put on a lot of muscle there to be able to move to the defensive end position, and the work has certainly been there so far. He's racked up a lot of offers so far in his junior campaign, and it's crazy to think that we've got one more year of him next year, and it's only going to be crazy to see how he progresses into his senior year.
Oh, yeah, and he's a beast. I mean, it reminds me a lot of Mark Debiak a couple years ago for the Broncos. I mean, it's eerily similar, like the strength and speed that he has there at defensive end.
Grady Howe will let this one roll to the back of the end zone, or I believe that's actually Garrett LeBlanc. He wanted nothing to do with that one. Yet another touchback racked up for Odell, and back out comes the Spartan offense. In a very short time again, of course. This will be their second drive of offense here in the second half, and they'll start off at their own 20-yard line after the touchback. So it looks to be the Broncos will kind of go back to more of their normal defense, and a bit. They'll kind of rotate between that and their 5-man front they're implementing here. First down, it's a give for Collins, and he'll be stuffed after gaining just a yard or two there. Brooks Bear, Carter Rainey, Kyle Stewart, the three that I saw in there on the tackle.
Great gang tackling right there.
Get 3 yards on that carry. 2nd and 7 coming up. And there's a lightning strike in the distance. So in comes the storm. And we mentioned that storms are going to be rolling in. And right there we just saw a lightning strike, so they'll play on, but it's only a matter of time before that one hits. On 2nd down, another give to Collins, and he'll be stuffed again. Bear, Stewart, even throw in Jake Weiss there on the tackle.
Usual suspects for the Broncos.
They're going to say just a yard on that pickup, so 3rd down and 6. They'll give the Spartans forward progress.
Now, I'd assume, so just thinking ahead, so if we see lightning, if we need a lightning delay, I believe the athletic directors and coaches can agree to call the game.
Call the game there, yeah. And that storm's going to brew in at about 9:40. On 3rd down, there's going to be a throw for Claiborne, and almost there. It's a Chance Duncan.
That's their first throw of the game.
Yeah.
So it's 4th down now, and out comes the punting unit once more for the Spartans. We'll take a look at the radar, and what I'm seeing is there's nothing that I've seen so far on the radar, and it looks to be that about 9:30 there's going to be a little cell from Osage City that'll come in before getting the initial storms in at about close to 10 o'clock. Gardner gets this snap off. It'll be taken in by Reagan. He calls for a fair catch, and they'll mark him down at the Bronco 47, and that's where the Broncos offense will set up shop here for the 2nd time. $7:12 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Lightning strike was in the distance, but no signs of stopping here.
Looks like Brendan Dubert is going to get some reps in at quarterback now.
So Brennan Dubert in at quarterback now, along with the 2nd string Broncos in. Dubert gives the handoff up the middle for Sam Abbott, and he'll churn his way to the 50. Still pushing his way to the 45, still going to the 40.
It's like the Bronco version of the tush push, working their way downfield. Looked like a 2-yard gain turned into 12.
So this is Brennan Dubert, the sophomore. We saw a mixture of Broncos before he was able to be thrust in. We saw Evan Goodfriend, and we also saw Blaise Rodina. This time we'll see Dubert out there at the quarterback position here.
Evan Goodfriend.
And I think this is now Goodfriend in at quarterback, so they'll rotate quarterbacks here. Carry to the outside to the 40, inside to the 37. And that's going to be number 23. That's good old Blake Caldwell, the junior running back. And in comes Dubert again, so they'll trade quarterbacks. Give some different looks there.
Big lightning strike.
Yeah. The officials are usually the one that make the call, but I don't know that they don't seem to have noticed.
Well, I don't think they're too concerned about that at all. 2nd and 7. Another give up the middle, and Spartans will stifle that one there, maybe a yard or two. Brought down by number 56 and Ty Karcher, the sophomore. 3rd down and 7. And in comes Goodfriend once again. Goodfriend, the junior, at 5'9", 160 pounds. It'll be a bit of a battle next year to see who gets that starting spot between Goodfriend and Dubert. Goodfriend will be a senior next year, and Dubert a junior. 3rd down and 7. It's Goodfriend in at quarterback. He'll roll out on a bootleg. He'll look downfield. He's got a man downfield, complete to Peyton Stanley, the tight end. Big 1st down catch at the 20-yard line.
Goodfriend did a great job of stepping up in the pocket and just completing a good ball.
So they'll make a change. Out. Stanley goes out, and Callahan Weiss is in, the sophomore. Be at tight end, so they'll rotate through their depth chart here. And let's be quick looks at the roster, as our 2 deep does not have any of these guys on there. So we weren't game planning for this at all, but
it's okay.
Was possible as always. On first down, this is Dubert. He'll look downfield to the end zone and just over the head of Sean Best, the sophomore. Second down and 10 coming up at the red zone. 4.5 minutes to play here in quarter number 3. Lightning brewing all around us, but still playing on here. And
must be out of the 10-mile radius.
It actually is in the 10-mile radius, 9.1 miles from where we're sitting up here in the press box. It's a give up the middle, and that's going to be taken back after maybe a yard or two. That's Sam Abbott on the carry. No gain on that one. It'll be third down and 10 coming up. Maybe we'll see if they get to fourth down. They'll let Aiden Odell try a field goal here. Third and 10.
Practice makes perfect.
Sure does.
Third and 10. Dubert is in at quarterback. And to his right, it'll be Blake Caldwell, the junior. They'll motion Abbott across to the right side. On third down, it's a give to Caldwell, and he will not go anywhere. It's going to be fourth and 10. We'll see what the Broncos decide to do here, and it looks to be they will send out the field goal unit.
You know, this is a great spot, too. Yeah, it's been, somewhat of a tough game for the kicking unit, but, you know, this is a really good chance for them to get some confidence.
Right, and you can't just, if you're not going to abandon it, you have to practice it. So if you want to be able to kick field goals and extra points, you got to work on it, and nothing simulates it like a game.
This is a 36-yard field goal. Snap good, hold good, and it's going to be moved up as LeBlanc jumped and was past the line of scrimmage there. You have to understand, it looked to be that LeBlanc was just ready for it.
He was excited.
Be fourth down and 5, and this will move the field goal closer. This will be a 32-yarder now for Odell. Snap good, hold good. The kick is carrying well, and it's no good. Just a bit wide to the right there.
And Ryan, you made some good points. We were talking about like some young kickers. When you're a lefty, typically it sweeps to the right a little bit because you swing your leg, and it's the opposite for a right.
Yeah, exactly. And I know
kicker.
Odell is I know he's a soccer player. I think he's a goalie, and you know,
midfielder.
Sorry,
it's all good.
Yeah, but with a lot of soccer players, it's kicking is actually quite a bit different.
It really is. You're right.
Yeah, and you would think it's similar, but you know, the leg pass actually quite a bit different, and a lot of soccer players, like including myself, tended to miss to my plant leg side.
Some can transfer it in well. Others, it takes a bit of time. Collins, a first down carry, and he'll push his way past the 25 to the 28-yard line. Be brought down by McKenna, and then also Braden Craik, the senior, at 6'4", 200 pounds, and on the stop there. Second down and a couple coming up for the Spartans here. Closing in on 2 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Another handoff, and just a few yards on that pickup there to Collins. Third down and a yard to go for Emporia coming up. So the clock will continue to wind down, and the clock will be running here in the fourth quarter. Did not reach the 45 mark here in the third, but will be past the 35 in the fourth. So,
well, that could have to do with the weather possibly as well.
That's also true.
Third down the yard. Collins bounces to the outside, stiff arms his way past a man, and he'll have a first down and a couple more. Gets his way to the 36-yard line. And it looks to be Spartan is down on the turf, and I think that is Ben Collins. And that's another injury you do not want to have if you're the Spartans there. We'll step aside for the injured Spartan. Collins was able to get up under his own power. But unfortunately, it looks to be he will be taken out, and in his place will be Brody Telfer, the 5'10", 215-pound senior. So I believe they'll just want to get him checked out here, and the clock will run, of course, as I think they do see the lightning, but regardless, there's a strike right there in the far distance. I think they're just going to try and keep this clock running. Man in motion. It's a keeper for, and it's a toss to the outside. Look at Grady Howe go. Bounces inside to the 20-yard line. A big play for the Spartans as Grady Howe will get the pitch from Claiborne, and the Spartans are in the red zone.
Back to the being disciplined. The cornerback's nowhere to be found. They went in. They took the quarterback. They're supposed to take the pitch back. So that's why that quarterback, the pitch back was there, able to make a big gain.
First and 10, Spartans coming up. They'll mark Howe down at the 21-yard line. Final play of the third quarter coming up. Man in motion. They'll give it to Collins back in, and he's going to be stuffed immediately at the line of scrimmage. Big stop there, and I believe that was C.J. Payne, one of the first ones to get in there. Second down and 8 coming up, and to the sideline go the Spartans and the Broncos as we're through 3 here in Emporia. The Broncos a big 43-0 lead. We've got 12 more minutes to play. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll have the fourth quarter for you here on your home of the Broncos, Spring Hill Sports Live.
I've been doing real estate for 8 years now, and we've run across clients where they're interested in land, but then what do we do with it? Well, what do you want to do with it?
There's a lot of pressure on individuals now to make those decisions quickly. And I think with our experience, with our backgrounds, we know how to work with the cities and how to work with the contractors to make it a smoother process for the buyer.
So if you're looking for real estate
or land planning services,
contact us today at epre.biz.
Hi, I'm Dr. Aaron Stoes with Paola Vet Clinic. We'd like to thank you for trusting us with the care of your pets and large animals. At Paola Vet Clinic, we're proud to be your hometown veterinarians who know and care about your family. We provide cutting-edge diagnostic services, digital radiology, ultrasound, and in-house same-day blood work, chiropractic, and reproductive services. Come in and see us at our new location here in Paola in the Industrial Park with indoor cattle and equine facilities complete with a hydraulic tip chute. With a team of 11 veterinarians, our commitment to this community makes Paola Vet Clinic the vets you can trust.
Back here on Spring Hill Sports Live, fourth quarter starting up quickly as the referees are trying to get this game going. And Ryan, you made an interesting point over the break.
Yeah, I was wondering if possibly that you have to get through maybe 3-ish quarters or some certain amount of time for the game to like count as eligible. I know in baseball you have to get through, I think, at least 5 or 4 innings in order for that to happen. I wonder if it's the same.
It's a pitch out from Claiborne. That ball's muffed out of the air, and it's fumbled. And the Broncos got it. Broncos jumping on the ball immediately. And it's another turnover for the Spartans. And just unfortunate, not what you want to start off this fourth quarter.
And oddly, the clock should be running. The clock should be running.
I'm not sure why it is not. And I think regardless, due to the weather, of course, they probably would want it to run anyways.
Right. The officials are the ones that typically spearhead that and tell the clock operator to continue.
So apologies to those at home who couldn't hear Jonesy and Ryan Jackson much, but hopefully that issue is fixed. Here on first down, it's a give up the middle to Blake Caldwell, and he'll be taken down immediately.
And Ryan, Mrs. Tallbomber wanted me to tell you hello.
Oh, hello, Miss Stallbomber. I enjoyed your statistics class, Miss Stallbomber.
Well played.
I unfortunately was able to scapegoat out of statistics, so.
I waited to take it in college for some reason.
Miss Stallbomber made it pretty easy for us. She's a good teacher.
That's good to hear.
Second down, good friend to give to the outside. This is Caldwell, and he will find his way to the 20-yard line, but not much more after that. Gain of, to the 19-yard line. So third down and 9 coming up. Or maybe third down and 8.5. Clock will continue to run here in this fourth quarter as the 35-plus mark as the Broncos at 43. Dubert on third down to convert, and there's the lightning strike behind us here at Welch Stadium. 4 out wide for Spring Hill. Caldwell in the backfield with Dubert. He'll drop back to throw on third down, and it's almost intercepted.
Dangerous throw, almost a huge play for the Spartans.
That was LeBlanc there, almost getting the interception there. Wesley Drisher also in the vicinity of that one at the linebacker position, and the Broncos will look to punt for the first time tonight, and out comes Brooks Bear. And if we can't stress enough how good of a defensive end he is, how about him at punting? I mean, a phenomenal punter in his own right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he took over for Carson Royal, I think, halfway through last year, who he had, unfortunately, a knee injury, and he's stepped into that role well last year, and he's doing it again this year.
And that one, almost a hand on it, as this will take a big bounce inside the 40, and it'll roll past the 35 to about the 34-yard line, and that's where the Spartans will set up shop here on offense.
Again, it's strange that the clock is not running. The officials should be on that. I mean, it should be the rule anytime, but especially, I mean, with a storm approaching.
So 9:35 to go here in quarter number 4. 43-0 Spring Hill. Back out on the field comes Cale Claiborne. It's a give up the middle for Collins, bulldozing his way past the 40 and trying to churn to the 45. He'll be stopped at the 43. That's where the Broncos will tackle him there. Cedric Thomas, I believe, was one of the guys in on the stop there. Second down and 2 coming up for the Spartans here at that 43-yard line. It's another give to Collins. Why not give it to the Bruiser? And he's got a first down at the 46-yard line. Brought down by John Nolan. And the Spartans will convert here on second down.
Looks like their offense is, it's rolling a little bit after that big play they had last drive.
I believe I just saw a reflection of another lightning strike there as nobody's really moving out of the stadium here. They just want to continue to keep things going here.
Right.
If you're here to watch football, you're here to watch football. I mean, why not? First down and 10 yards to go. It's another give to Collins, and he'll be wrapped up immediately. And that's just a swarm of Broncos right there to make the stop there.
Yeah, good hard play for the Bronco defense.
C.J. Payne, Zedric Thomas. First two I initially saw to make the stop, but others in on the swarm. Clock continuing to wind down, just closing in on under 8 minutes to play. I believe the officials just wanting to keep this game pushing and moving. At the
Which
same
is all
time,
the more strange they haven't gone the running clock.
2nd and 9. Another give to Collins, and they're just going to give their bruiser the ball if they can get it just a few yards at a time. And that time he picks up only just a matter of 2 yards, so 3rd down and 7 coming up. Just feed the guy who can just get you a couple yards at a time.
Yeah, at this point, they just need to run their offense and just try to get out of here without any injuries and live to see another day.
Lightning continues to fall here at Emporia. Man in motion here on 3rd down, and they'll pitch it out. This is to Grady Howe. Gets to the sideline past the 45 and is at the 40. Knocked out hard right there by Giovanni Rocha.
Second time we've seen that almost same play that they took for a really big play last time. Almost did it again there.
Yeah, much better coverage by the Bronco defense.
Fresh set of downs for the Spartans as the clock for some reason stops, and I'm not sure why. I won't continue to question it further, but it's a fresh set of downs for the Spartans here, and that one, the ball's out, and it's picked up by Spring Hill.
And I think the Spring Hill player was at Rocha again. He just happened to be there, and the ball kind of surprised him more than anything.
Wanted to give it to Collins again, but somebody tripped up over their own guy, and the ball came spiraling out, and the Broncos will pick it up with 6:40 to go here in quarter number 4. And back out comes the Spartan defense again. Brennan Dubert out there at quarterback for the Broncos to start off. And they'll just hand this one off up the middle. No gain on that run. This time it was Levi Schrum, the sophomore, getting a carry there. 2nd and 10 coming up for Spring Hill, starting this offensive drive at their own 30-yard line. Now comes Goodfriend. The Broncos, who won't take the Frontier League here in the last year of being in the Frontier League, and will definitely settle for top 3.
Right. I think they learned a lot from that Eudora game. So, loss, they say you can learn a lot. And I think they did, because we've definitely played better against teams with a strong offensive line, and it showed us some weaknesses that we can definitely work on. So, moving forward as we go through Lewisburg and then on into the playoffs, we'll look back at that game, and hopefully that was a turning point where the Broncos got some good lessons learned.
Abbott tackled for a loss in the backfield. Ty Karcher in on the stop. As it's going to be 3rd down and 11 coming up, and back out comes Dubert and at quarterback. 3rd and long. Quick out in the flats and broken up and stopped immediately in their tracks is the Broncos. Try to get it out to Rhett Worthen, the sophomore. And Bear's going to come out to punt again. Big tackle by Roadcap. And Bear will be out for his 2nd punt. Again, pin the Spartans way back deep. But looks to try and do it again. Snap is high, and I think a Spartan may have gotten a hand on it, as that one will go out of bounds. It'll stay in Bronco territory, so the Spartans will have not a lot of room to work with in terms of just trying to march it down the field, but it's certainly in their favor to looks to be trying to get their first score on the board.
Yeah, and they want to end the game on a strong note, and they're going to keep running their offense and see what they can do against the Bronco D.
Claiborne will head back out under center for the Spartans. So we'll step into the huddle here. 43-0 Bronco lead. Second and third quarter been the difference like last year for Spring Hill. Back-to-back 40-plus games for the Broncos against the Spartans. And on first down, they'll pitch it out to Howe, and he gets past the 40 before being pushed out of bounds by John Nolan. And he'll just get about halfway to the line to gain. 6 yards on that one, 2nd and 4. I've not seen any more updates on the Lightning from what I've seen, so I believe they just want to finish this one and get out of here. Lightning still about 9 miles from Emporia from my app, so 2nd and 4. It's a keeper for the quarterback there in Claiborne, and he'll be stopped after a few yards. Jackson McCurdy, the sophomore, to bring him down.
That was a really nice hit.
It was very good.
But a gain of 5 will move the chains for Emporia. New set of downs coming up for the Spartans as they enter in Bronco territory at the 38. And I think Coach Bouchard's asking about the game clock as well. On first down, it's a give to Collins, and he'll be stuffed and lifted in the air. Just a little bit there. Almost like the Titanic at the end of the boat there.
That's a good visual.
It's the first one that popped in my head, so.
Hey.
Gain of 3 in that one, 2nd and 7. Man in motion. They'll give it again to Collins, and he'll be wrapped up, nowhere to go. McCurdy, one of the first ones there. John Nolan also in the vicinity. Also throw in Nathan Chialo. 3rd down and 8 coming up. Just 3 minutes to play here in the ball game. Spartans just trying to look for their first score of the game. And if you remember last year, they scored with 5 minutes left to go. But so far, closing it down 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Still no dice on the board. 3rd down and about medium. Man in motion. They'll give it to Collins, and he'll be wrapped up. He'll spin off his own tackle before being driven to the ground at the 39-yard line. Sawyer Goring, one of the first ones on the stop, and it's going to be 4th down, and they'll say 8 yards. They'll say a loss of a yard on that carry to Collins, and could be, looks to be, no, the Spartans will go for it. Why not? Nothing to lose there. Now 2 minutes and counting on 4th down. And 9 yards to go. Man in motion, Gardner. Down the field to throw. And it's caught.
Huge 4th down play for the Spartans to get into the red zone.
Talon Kirk getting the grab there, and a big grab, in fact, for the Spartans. And Kirk is now going to go to the sidelines and a bit shaken up on that one. Athletic training staff quick to him, but now they're going to have to go to Tarek Franklin, the junior, out there. Normally we'd see him just at defensive end, but now he'll have to go in there. Spartans are at the 19-yard line, looking for their first score. Gardner in motion again. Back is Claiborne to throw, and it's intercepted! Intercepted by Spring Hill. And that kills the momentum there. Brody Bremerman, the sophomore.
You know what they say about passing sometimes. 3 things that can happen and 2 of them are bad. That's been the situation for Emporia tonight when they throw the ball. They've only done it 3 times.
And the Spartans oh so close to tasting the end zone for the first time tonight. And instead, the Broncos will shut that down real quick. And it looks to be that Spring Hill may just need out. 104 now to play here in the ball game. Coming up, our Elliott Insurance Group postgame show will recap this game, give you some scores from around the area, and look forward to our final week next week taking on the Lewisburg Wildcats, and Broncos will just go in victory formation here. And what a season it's been for Coach Bouchard and his guys, coming on the road on senior night, spoiling it in the first quarter. All 3 phases of the game been really sound outside of the extra point department, but everything else has gone to plan for Spring Hill for yet another week. And it's a 43-0 shutout against the Emporia Spartans, who fall to 2-5 on the season. The Broncos 6-1. And you couldn't ask for much better if you're Coach Bouchard, as the clock will continue to wind down and this game will go final at Welch Stadium. We'll step aside for just a brief moment. When we come back, our Elliott Insurance Group postgame show right after this. The Broncos take it 43-0.
For 50 years, Elliott Group has been your local insurance partner. With 5 convenient locations, Elliott Group is big enough to offer the best carriers, but small enough to know your name and your insurance needs. Elliott Group is more than just insurance. They're a part of each community they serve, with a wide variety of insurance solutions to help your unique challenges. Elliott Group, where they're there for you today and for years to come. Visit them at any of their 5 locations or at ElliottInsuranceGroup.com.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here, studying animal science or learning about farm and ranch management. Maybe you belong here as part of Helms Hoops on the hardwood. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
Hi, I'm Katie Casey, and I'm honored to be a 3rd-generation realtor in our Crown Realty family. My dad and grandparents started Crown Realty in 1973, and since then we have grown to become one of the largest brokerages in the Midwest. We now have 8 office locations and over 150 agents covering about 20 counties across Kansas and Missouri. Reach out to us today to experience the Crown Realty difference, where we are committed to treating our agents like family and our clients like royalty.
Back here on Spring Hill Sports Live here on our post-game show presented by Elliott Insurance Group. From the Bolin, Ryan Jackson, Matt Jones here in the booth at Welch Stadium in Emporia, Kansas. Again, on our Elliott Insurance Group post-game show. At Elliott Group, they believe building strong relationships with their clients and their community is the best way to serve them both. With offices throughout the area and online at elliottInsuranceGroup.com. 43-0 the final score in this one. A combined 92 points. 92-0 the all-time score against the Spartans and the Broncos. Another big shutout here for the Broncos, a much-needed one, Jonesy.
Broncos came in and did everything they needed to do. They were executing on both sides of the ball. They were relentless. And, you know, the Spartans were just overmatched. You can see on the sideline they only had about 30 kids. And by the end of the game, they had about 25 kids that they could use just with injuries. So, you know, Emporia is a program that's building, and Spring Hill's a program on the rise, and it showed.
Ryan, any thoughts?
Sorry, I was not paying attention.
That's all good. Just any thoughts on the game?
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, it was really nice to see, you know, the Broncos come out and win in dominating fashion. I mean, the offense did what they needed to do. Although they did have some mishaps here and there, you know, they had some really big plays. It was nice to see them go deep in the playbook, and it looked like, you know, they just dominated as they should have.
And you can't see on the field, but you can clearly see by the way of the people reacting on the field that the rain's starting to come down here at Emporia. Just at the right time at post-game, rain's starting to come down, and certainly it's that storm that was just approaching, and it looks like everybody's starting to try and file out as quickly as they can or just take any pictures they can right now.
Right.
And the 43-0 the final, and we'll take a look at some scores from around the area before we wrap this one up. And, of course, we want to try and beat the rain headed home, too. So
sure.
We won't keep anyone long. And we'll start off with the big one that we were looking forward to. 21-17, Eudora wins the Frontier League, takes down the Chieftains. And Chieftains certainly were on the upset bid at the moment, but just unfortunately came up short there.
Yeah, Eudora, you know, did what they needed to do. That's a rivalry game, so you can kind of throw records out the window. But, you know, congratulations to the Eudora Cardinals on being Frontier League champs.
Baldwin up 37-13 over Bishop Ward in the third quarter. Blue Valley North stuns Bishop Miege 24-20, the final score.
That's a pretty big upset.
Yeah, really big upset. No score on Bonner Springs and Paola. DeSoto takes down Blue Valley Southwest 59-33. So Blue Valley Southwest tumbles to 0-7 on the season.
It's only 2 years removed from a state semifinal run.
No kidding. 38-35, the score I saw between St. James and Capon. So Thunder look to be on the roll right now in the final quarter of play. No score in Leavenworth and Topeka West. Mill Valley over Olathe Northwest, currently 49-28, unless you saw it differently, Jonesy.
That's all I've seen, unfortunately, for the Ravens.
14-all between Olathe North and Lawrence Free State. Still, Gardner Edgerton over the Olathe South Falcons, 48-14. 7-6 Lewisburg over Ottawa in the second quarter, as that's all it's been logged. Atchison takes the win over Parsons, 40-20. We'll go out to Atchison for that one. Piper downs Turner 43-7. In Turner, Piper rattling off their second straight win. Shawnee Heights Lansing, no score on that one. Olathe West up 31-20 over Shawnee Mission East. That's another big win for the Owls there. Already ranked in the top 5 in 6A. Shawnee Mission Northwest over Shawnee Mission South, 35-14. And we'll go real quickly to Missouri's score. Smithville, 77-0 over Grandview High School.
Yikes.
Wow.
Smithville was really looking for a bounce-back win.
Playing that team over this summer last year, I could tell you they're a sound ball team. We played them at Washburn a couple times over the summer, and they're a very good football team.
St. Thomas Aquinas over Blue Valley Northwest, 35-7, the final score. The Saints getting another win Basehor-Linwood is not going to be upset today. They remain 7-0 in 5A and on the season, 47-39 the final score. In Basehor, they get it done on senior night.
One score of note, Hanover, number 3 in 8-man 2. They're up 26-12 and over Axtell, and Axtell's they're at a 58-game winning streak. So
wow, that
is in serious jeopardy. There's about 6.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter there. So
a quick score, former coach Jason Feeback, Belton over Truman right now, 20-12. That game currently logged at the second quarter. So pulling for Coach Feeback there in Belton. And week 7 in the books, gentlemen. Next week, senior night, taking on the Lewisburg Wildcats, a very young team, but the Broncos just want to get on a great mark here on senior night. And if we've seen anything from how teams play on senior night, they go all out.
Right. And we ruined their Frontier League championship bid last year, last game of the year. So, they want to come in and they want to kick us out of the Frontier League with style. So it'll be a hard-fought game.
Yeah, and as always, rivalry games, you're always going to get each other's best shot too. So, Spring Hill better bring their A game because, Lewisburg is going to come in and they're going to bring theirs.
And they've had they're in a currently really contested matchup with the Cyclones right now, who are wanting to try and get some sort of winningness in their own right. Cyclones, just beating Bonner Springs, having losing their quarterback already. They just want to get some more wins in the column and just get a good spot in the 4A playoffs because they don't want to play too dangerous of a team early on, and especially with the way the standings look right now, it's certainly continuing to look like they might finish middle of the pack in 4A. But Lewisburg, they'll have to face a juggernaut early.
Right.
And for Spring Hill, they currently sit in a decent spot, number 4 seed. And by the looks of it, they'd play Blue Valley North, who just rattled off a win against Bishop Miege. So that'll be quite the interesting matchup if things stay the way they are.
That'll be a tough first-round matchup for the Broncos, although it's just another 5A school. It's a team that's kind of rallied around each other right now.
And, it's always going to be a difficult game when you play against an EKL school as well.
As the rain looks to have subsided just a little bit, still a bit of light sprinkles. Will wrap up here from Welch Stadium at Emporia State University. The Broncos spoiled the Spartans senior night, 43-0 the final score in this one. You've been watching a presentation of Bronco football here on Spring Hill Sports Live. For my partners, Ryan Jackson and Matt Jones, I'm Brendan Bullen. Signing off. Till next week, we'll see you on senior night. As always, go Broncos and have a great night.
Find whole body wellness with Sozo Chiropractic in downtown Spring Hill. Relax and recharge with medical grade infrared. Experience natural relief with dry needling and acupuncture. Or try stem wave therapy, a cutting edge option for pain relief and healing. Whether it's you, your kids, or your family, Sozo Chiropractic is here to help you feel your best. Visit us at 102 South Main in Spring Hill or call 913-592-0010. Sozo Chiropractic. Relax, restore, and live.
Whether you're trying to make the most of the next harvest, navigating a changing business landscape, or planning for the next chapter in your life, the professionals at Prime Accounting Solutions are here to help. With 10 locations, Prime Accounting offers convenient, friendly accounting and tax services at a fair price. Payroll, bookkeeping, business planning, personal tax filing, and more. And now Prime is the place to go for insurance. Bronco fans can find us at 408 North Webster in Spring Hill or call 913-592-2015. To find a location near you, go to primeaccounting.net. For more than 20 years, Gherkin Rental has been the place to go to get the job done in eastern Kansas and western Missouri. With a huge selection of quality equipment, from roll-offs to trailers, telehandlers to generators, power washers to popcorn makers. Experienced equipment professionals and clean, well-maintained tools to help you get the job done right the first time. Gherkin Rental. Stop by any of their 13 locations across the KC Metro or call 855-GHERKINS. That's 855-437-5367.
From the gridiron to the hard court, the pitch to the mat, don't miss any of the action. We're there